The show starts now.
BJ Nix, are you here?
Present.
Present. Spoonie, Timothy Spoonie.
Present, sir.
Margaret and Mary. Do we have a Margaret and Mary?
Yes. Cool. And the margaritas.
All right. Class here. We're ready. Let's go.
Yes, let's go.
Okay.
This is the time to line up behind your team, to support your team. Have faith in that team.
You know, it's peaks and valleys. You know, it can't always be good. And as I always tell people, you're never as good as you think you are, and you're never as bad as you think you are. But when we do know about
house call, Trevon Diggs pick six. It's coming. They see it. Knocked away. Oh, Gregory! Hurts in trouble. 3 Cowboys wrap him up, make it 4. Micah Parsons is unblockable.
Oh, let's get that background music going. Let's get it cracking. Let's get it happening. First and foremost, Cowboys Nation, Pick Six fam. Not only is it Friday, not only is it Friday the 13th, but it's the first ever Freestyle Friday playoff edition. Your guy Nix, I'm going to be hoodie mode the entire time, I think. I don't know. We appreciate everybody in the building. Hopefully you had a fantastic week. Friday's on deck. Make sure you sub, hit the like, share this everywhere. Man, it is what we do on Twitter in the spaces. We bring it over here for the people that are not on YouTube. Y'all see the link on the bottom. Pick Six Sports. Come over here. It's already dropped for the link to come join us. Had this conversation on the playoff edition of the Freestyle Friday. It is linked to the top. We're ready to get it in. Come join. Come talk. Man, hey. Hold on, man. I got a cup here. Hold on. Victory, man. That's what we own. I want all the smoke. I don't care. It's Victory Friday. How about that? I don't care. I know we play on Monday. Man, it's Victory Friday, man. I'm turned up. I'm ready. Playoff season is in the building. Let's go retire Brady, Professor O.
It's time!
Let's go.
Let's go. Yes, I'm so ready. It's Friday. Had a great week. Ready for this weekend. Can watch some wildcard action. Hopefully get an upset or two so we can host a home game coming up soon in the future. But yeah, it's good, man. I'm excited to be here. Happy that everybody's showing up. Hope you guys had a great week. And I just want to be clear. If I don't win the Mega Million tonight, I hope it's one of you guys. I do. I hope one of you guys wins that $1.35 billion. And drop a super chat with it if you do. Appreciate
Hey, low key, I forgot to get my ticket. I'll be back. I'm joking. I'm just ain't gonna win. I lost. I didn't get it. Spoonie, wifey 2-0, huh? Spoonie, wifey 2-0. What's good?
Yeah, 2-0. Wednesday they won 87-19. Today it was 94-7.
When he gave us an update earlier, and it was like 57-2.
Three or something. Yeah.
It's listen, she had these girls six days a week.
That part.
Trainers X, Y, and Z. So you going for a fourth title right now. I'm going for a fourth title. So
that part. Look, man. Once again, we're in the building. We're talking Cowboys playoff edition. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to get into. The link is up there. Come through. We're ready for a good time tonight. We're going to expound on some of these things that we talked about Wednesday. How the Cowboys major keys to winning this game, and then our background talk on the channels and Messenger. Boy, what we talked about Wednesday, guys, I think we found a lot more to really get into, where there's some things offensively and defensively the Cowboys can deploy, and we feel pretty damn good about the situation. I'm pretty excited about tonight's show. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Forget the playoffs, just in general.
I'm excited to see how people react to the scenario too. So I don't know what part of the show we dropped that, but that's gonna be fun to see.
Little tease.
Where you're at confidence level with this team.
Yeah, little tease.
I put it on Twitter, and I put a very basic version on how do you feel about the 2022 team heading into the playoffs versus how you felt last year at the same point. 12-5 hosting, 12-5 visiting. How do you feel about the team? So we'll get into that later. You don't have to put that in the chat. But
we good right now. And look, I think you did some 21-22 comparisons we want to talk about tonight as well.
Yeah.
Article coming soon. But with that being said, as we always talk about each and every Friday, is about interacting and doing certain things and getting people up here to rock with us. And then we got a guy in the building already. Our guy, Ricardo, a.k.a. Space Cowboys in the building. What's going on, Space?
Listen, I am ready to kick Brady's ass this weekend.
Let's go. Rich Gang in the building. TC in the building. What's going on, Rich Gang? Shout out to the Rich Gang members. I'll be at the game. King Slayer. Let's go, King. King in the building as well, too, man. Shout out to everybody in the building right now, man. Whew. All right, guys. All right, we'll bring it down a notch. We opened up. We in the building. All right. Some interesting points, though, I want to kind of get to as we lead off here. We're getting to some things. Some interesting points. My girl BLS, and bitches love sports and doing certain things. I mean, she had an article earlier this week. And, even in the spaces and what we do, it was kind of talking about simply, this team doesn't owe your fandom. I thought it was very interesting, right? And sure, he said, I'll call in, hit the link, do what you got to do. But, she talks about, this team doesn't owe you, younger family. And one thing I always talk about in general is the vibe of us, like Spoonie, whatever we experienced in the 90s, and then we kind of flip the table to like a O and a me in Space and the younger group. And it's very interesting to me in general and how that works. But she had an article talking about how they didn't owe anything, and that gum in Space, Mike McCarthy echoed those, showed. Oh, here's the 10 players on the team in their baby pictures when they had last time won, and drove home the you owe them nothing, it's about your opportunity.
I mean, what am I else to say? I mean, I loved what he did there. I think the fact that there is this mindset, obviously, we know what this team did in the 90s, and it's hard to do that in today's league, right? We haven't had a back-to-back champion, 2003, 2004. But the fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, this is a different league. This team does not owe anything to what that other team did. But I'm glad McCarthy did that. It shows that not only are we not anybody's underdog, we're going to create our own opportunities and success. That's the goal here.
Trying. I'm doing it.
Let's go. Let's go. Beard King in the building. Look. And the one thing, in case y'all don't follow us on Twitter, Space had the beard rocking. He got rid of it. Dadgummit, Space. Come along for the ride. He said, look, keep the hair low. Just come along for that. We got some more people coming up right now. Let's get to, first and foremost, our guy. The Lunatic is in the building. Lunatic, how we doing on a playoff edition Freestyle Friday?
We doing 12-5, and we're not going to retire Brady. We're going to send him to the Raiders with that L.
Just kick him out of the NFC then, huh?
Out of the conference.
That's right.
Right out of it.
Now, what short of memory do we have? How did Brady in New England end with the loss? Brady in Tampa Bay is going to be the same thing. We are the 12-5 team. They are the 8-9. And Cowboys Nation, yes, I understand. It is Tom Brady. But if we play clean, we are the superior team. We have Kellen Moore. Mike McCarthy knows, hey, I'll be in those meetings. And not only that, Schottenheim, the assistant that he hired from Seattle, he's in this meeting, a former OC. The Brain Trust will go ahead and, as they did last year, they reviewed the plays. We went vanilla versus Tennessee. We went vanilla versus Washington. Even the Washington players, on some of their day after things, they were like, yeah, you could tell the Dallas players were looking for the wild card game. They weren't really into this game. They just didn't want to get injured. So don't go off of last week's performance. They're humans. It happens. We overlook things that way. We don't need this. We just want to get through this game. We got to get through it, but get through it health-wise, and then let's go on to Tampa Bay.
Interesting point you bring up. I'm going to spin the block here real quick. Let me spin the block. I'm going to go left to right for me and how I look at it. And we obviously talked about the Washington game and everything else, and back to what Lunatic's talking about. Man, I kind of agree personally. Washington, okay, it happened. I mean, does Washington game hold anything in your head as we move into the playoffs?
I mean, in my head, a little bit, because I'm like, it's not the momentum I want to carry into the postseason. But in the grand scheme of things, no, the players already moved on. That was quite evident. The coaching staff moved on basically immediately. It's just one of those things. Like last year, we had the blowout against the Eagles heading into the postseason, and that didn't do anything in round one. So I don't know necessarily that a loss when you're conservative. I mean, call it vanilla game planning, call it luck of the draw, the field conditions, whatever you want to blame it on. They were conservative. It was blatantly clear. Same thing with the Tennessee game. So I don't think it really has any impact on this game. And Tom Brady said as much, and the team has said as much. You know, what really matters is what team shows up Monday. Is it the team we saw the last 2 weeks offensively, or is it the team that we saw from week 7 and on when we scored 32.5 points a game? So to me, I don't really buy into it too much, but the fan in me is like, that sucks. You know, I wanted to steamroll them, blow them out, and have one of those like 6 or 7 sack games, a couple interceptions, and then ride real high into the playoffs. But we're 12-5. I mean, I shouldn't. I really shouldn't focus on that game too much. Interceptions and then ride real high.
10-4. Spoonie,
Yes,
you buy into the Washington? Here we are now. What's going on?
Washington was yesterday's news, in my opinion. I think this team already been past that. I believe they came in with a mindset to get through the game. I'm not saying it's the right thing or it's the wrong thing, but it just that's what happened. So now it's basically just moving on. But there's a couple more things to that I want to add on to it. First of all, it's the passion and the hunger and the anger. This team is locked in my opinion. They're tired of the Tom Brady conversation. We heard from guys like Javon Curry talking about he didn't beat us this year. We still got to play this year. Those were during the season, never in the playoff. We've seen D-Law. This team has a lot of leadership and a lot of great character when it's time to strap up and put it through, and they have shown that. So that's another thing. Another thing, this may be a little cheesy, but I have a little superstitious with a lot of different things. And what I love is called patterns, right? Now, if we look at the Cowboys' schedule, starting over the preseason, and this is what I caught for somebody else, a light bulb came. I was like, wow, look at this pattern. If we look at the games, we haven't lost 2 in a row, right? We haven't lost 2 in a row. in the beginning, when you lost one, you won 2 in a row. Then you lost one, you won 4 in a row. Then you lost one, you won 2, then 4 in a row, right? So we had our 2 wins, and then Washington became our loss, right?
It ain't hopium. Go ahead.
What's the next 4 games? The Cowboys win the next 4. The 4th one is what? The Super Bowl.
The bowl. Let's go.
There you go. So that's a little more of a betting thing, superstition, and I love it. I love every minute of it. And on top of that, I want to play this for everybody. See, Spoon.
Oh, here we go. Spoonie wants to play some on the phone again. Let's see how it works this time.
I'll play again. So here's the thing, y'all. This is not my sermon, but
Real quick, before Spoonie goes on, for those that couldn't pick up what he's saying, one of the Bucks teammates said to Brady, "You're 6-0 against the Cowboys, right?" And then he said, "Yeah, we looked at that this week." So basically, he just acknowledged that that they were 6-0. Now they're 7-0.
Yeah.
So that was during the game.
And that individual was Mike Evans, the wide receiver, the same guy who said that this defense is simple. So Mike Evans, my friend, you're gonna earn your contract come Monday Night Football. You're gonna earn your contract. I'm gonna behave right now. Let me hold myself in, get my energy back up, and let everybody else go. I'm gonna hold that down. I'll save it for later, but
Yeah. You see, remember, Spoon, I'm keeping the hood on all night. Be careful. Maybe I won't. Space.
We'll be a good tag team of demolition then.
All right, Space, your corner.
No, the game had no bearing. I don't care what anybody says. Listen, what happened last year? You put up 50 goddamn points, and that meant nothing. Then, we're wearing the blue jerseys. Like, we're doing this. Dude, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They did not give a damn about that game, whether you liked it or not. They were just out there to play, and if they won, they won. If they didn't, they didn't. It was clearly evident. Look at go back and watch the All-22. They literally ran multiple plays over and over and over again. It wasn't even. They weren't even trying offense, defense, when you name it. So it doesn't matter to me, because you know what's going to happen. If the objective was to stay healthy, you did that. Now you're getting some guys back and stuff like that. Tom Brady's gonna come with a boombox.
Oh god. Question: if Tom Brady walked out of the boombox, what song would he be playing? What's a Tom Brady
Crazy
song?
Train?
Crazy Train.
From
Maybe Big Wheels Keep on Turning. Proud Mary, if you will.
I don't know what he would.
I don't know.
Smoke
on the Water? I don't know. I mean, Tom Brady's. Shit. Tom Brady's older than. Look, I'm old. He's older than me. I'm out here trying to figure out my knee, have surgery. He's older than me playing the game. I mean, I don't know.
I don't think Brady.
I have no clue. I have no clue what's gonna play.
It's like Baby, Icky Break Your Heart, Jump Around.
Wow.
Somebody said Disco Inferno. I don't think he's that hip. I ain't buying that. I'm not buying that. Maybe he's playing Backstreet's Back All Right. I don't know what he's doing. I have no clue. What he's doing.
Why would Tom Brady walk out to Wild? I'm just trying to.
I don't know.
Listen, you don't know what Tom's doing nowadays.
Oh my god. Is Cardi B gonna be walking behind Tom Brady?
You know, I mean, it is what it is.
Crazy.
I'm gonna spin over to Lethal.
I like how you said it like that. You really got that used to calling me BLS, huh?
Yeah. I was like, let me go to Lethal. Lethal. Okay. Lethal, you know.
I can change it. Nobody knows who Lethal is.
Well, you know, I just got to rock with what you gave me. I look in real time. I'm like, no BLS. We're going Lethal. Say less.
BLS. We got BLS.
Hey, BLS. There we go. All right. So yeah, I mean, pivot around. Everyone's had their conversation. You know, Washington. Here we are. Matters don't matter. Where you at?
To me, Washington doesn't matter. Like, it's it's an outlier statistically.
Hold on, pause. Armchair. What I do know is you didn't watch that dadgum musical soft rock special on Paramount Plus because I watched it. It's the first time I heard about yacht rock. So here we are. I know you did that. You can't lie to me because I just learned about yacht rock literally less than 24 hours ago, and I watched that. Go right ahead, BLS.
But yeah, statistically, the game is an outlier. It's as was mentioned earlier. Last year, us, doing really well at the end of the regular season didn't seem to have any bearing on the postseason. And also just, I guess in my own experience playing sports, just like usually when you have a performance that bad, it's like you try to forget about it or like at least correct your mistakes. And it sounds like from what I've heard, they didn't even dwell on the mistakes that long. So if anything, I hope they learned a few things from that game, which also from listening to their sound, it sounds like they did. They've talked a lot about practicing better this week. The team has talked a lot about how that was like an eye-opening experience. It was humbling. It was sobering. So if it did count at all, I think it'll mean good things for the team, but I don't look at it as a sign of what we should expect in the postseason at all.
10-4, and then, I'll be honest with you. With this guy down here, shout out to the guy, friend of the channel, coming
Cooper
through.
Rush. What's up, Cooper?
No. He didn't shave the beard though. I don't like the mustache look. I'm just keeping a buck with you. We gotta get the rest back in. I don't know. I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I like this, sir.
Trying to grow a mullet.
The mullet, grow the mullet. Look, I won't stop you from growing the mullet, but the mullet has nothing to do with the facial construction here. Beard gang all day. Neither here nor there. Go ahead, Mister. Here we go again, and go ahead. Watching the game matters here. Wow, whatever bothers you, whatever.
Yes, the Washington game does matter. Not to the extent that I'm going to make it out to be, because there's some trends that have been carrying into the Washington game that were in the Tennessee Titans game and many games before. We can't ignore that. But I'll get right to the point. I love the Cowboys, but I love making money so much more. And I have bet against the Cowboys so many times in the wild card round, and I win.
Hey, guess what? Oh, pause. Let me pause you, because home covering the spread, the Bucks, I believe, are 0-3. So
when they're underdogs, yeah. So when the Bucks are underdogs this season, they're 0-3 against the spread, and they're 6-1 at home against the spread.
And I'm going against a team that hasn't won a road playoff game since what? Were you even alive, Space Cowboy?
Oh, sounds like trends that should be broken. Sounds like trends that should be broken.
Look, there's things that this Cowboys team that really, really bug me right now, such as the run game is virtually gone existent. We are too heavily dependent on 3rd and long. Kellen Moore seems to have regressed once again and is in love with curls, got rid of the 3 tight end sets. The motion has gone down. There's just so many things that we just stopped doing that works, and we're going into it after Sam Howell looked like an all-pro against us. Okay. I mean, I heard this all. We're going to end Tom Brady in week 1, and what did Tom Brady do?
19 points, played like ass. You right?
No,
you asked. You asked me what Tom Brady did.
You're right.
He put up 19 points and played like ass. It was all about playoff Lenny week 1 running to the left. If you're asking the question, I'm gonna give you the answer.
And we stopped running the football when it was effective, and Kellen Moore did what he always does. He glitches out and gets conservative. Look, I've heard this so many times for so many years. I hope I'm wrong, but okay.
Where's your money at, though?
Oh, I put it up.
Because you don't hope you're wrong. If your money's put up, you don't hope you're wrong.
I have been disappointed so many times for most of my life.
Nobody puts their money where they don't hope.
I put the money where I think it's going to go. If I'm wrong, so be it. But more often than not, I'm not wrong.
Would you like to disclose how much money you put up, or you want to table that?
Are you the IRS? No. I'm kidding. I put $500 on the Bucks. Straight up. Straight up money.
So Just out of curiosity, so I hear where you're coming from. I get that. But the last 8 games against the Bucks, just throwing out the numbers, they scored 16 points, 21 points, 17 points, 17 points, 7 points, 23 points, 19, 30, and 17. So 5 of their last 8 games, they scored under 20 points. Does that move the needle at all? Does that make you feel a little bit more confident that we're looking at a team that offensively is not going to score a lot of points? If you score 21, you're probably in pretty good shape based on what they've done the last 8 games. Does that do anything for you?
No. And the only reason why... go ahead.
Pause. If none of that does anything for you, don't tell me how the Washington game mattered, Dan. If none of that moves a needle for you and you put 500 up, then don't tell me how the Washington game matters when the Cowboys dropped 50 in Week 18 last year and then walked out to a dud. See, you can't have your cake and eat it too here. You can't do that. Don't tell me that don't matter, but then the Washington game matters.
What bugs me about the Washington game, just like the Tennessee Titans game, we have a tendency that we love to play down to our competition. I don't like how the defense made Sam Howell, again, look like an all-pro quarterback. We struggled against Joshua Dobbs, too. I don't like how our offense is now being called out again by Mike Evans, just like Devin White did in Week 1, saying, y'all are simple, we know what you're going to do. It's just...
But you've been here, we've been knowing what we're going to do. But neither here nor there.
Yeah,
but no matter how schematically Star-Spangled Banner great the Bucks are, it ain't producing. It's not producing.
Can I say something about the Sam Howell point? Because people keep saying that. First of all, he did not look like an all-pro. He might have looked like an all-pro for a few minutes when he had a perfect quarterback rating because he started in the freaking red zone.
Red zone once, touchdown, red zone twice, interception.
Right, but after that first touchdown, he literally had a perfect quarterback rating for like a few minutes of the game. Like, oh boy. But it's like, everybody's like, oh, we lost our third string quarterback. And it's like, he's not a third string quarterback. The whole reason why he was playing is because that organization thinks he might be the future. So, like, we played against a starting quarterback who did not look like an all-pro. He just looked really good, which he is, because his coordinators set up a system that he works well in. Like, it's not like he went in there with any skills. Like, yes, he's a rookie, and yes, he was inexperienced, but it's like, if you look at what he did in college, like, what he did during that game was, like, pretty much spot on as far as, like, if you were paying attention, he did exactly what everybody thought he was gonna do. Like, he was good with the deep ball, he got the ball out quick, he could stay in the pocket if he wanted to, but, you know, if you know anything about him, you know he can pick it up and take off running. Like, Sam Howell was who anybody who was paying attention thought he was. He's not that bad. I just had to put that out there. Sorry.
Did we enter that game trying to win? What was the game plan going into Washington?
We don't know. That's the thing. There's actually speculation that some of the things that they were trying to do during the game had more to do with figuring out personnel. So it's like, if we were trying to win, of course, that was terrible. But like, let's say just for shits and giggles, am I allowed to cuss in here? Let's say
too late now. Trust me, Spoony cusses. You're fine.
Maybe we weren't. It's like, because the truth is, it's like, yeah, they do have a lot of stuff to figure out. So it's like, honestly, from my perspective, if I heard every single one of the coaches, coordinators, whoever say, you know what, we hoped to win, but actually we wanted to find out more about our personnel and who could do what during a game, and we found that out, cool. If you found that out in advance of the postseason, I'm good with that. Now, next time, let us know so we don't have to spend an entire 8 days listening to all the anxious Cowboys fans like go through therapy sessions in all the Twitter spaces. That would be nice. But if that's what they were doing, I'm not that mad at it, because it is important to figure that out. And especially because of the stipulations that are placed on how NFL teams can run practices, a limited number of padded practices. Even if they did want to figure it out in full in practice anyway, they really couldn't. So it's like the best way to figure that out, to figure out what people are really made of, is in a game scenario, honestly. You know?
You know what's sad though?
But I will say though, considering how disappointed all the players were, I don't think that was the case. That was strictly speculation. Because if you listen to anything any of those players said, they were clearly like sad and pissed off after that game. So I do think they wanted to win. that was like a devil's advocate type scenario.
Go ahead, Spoon.
Yeah, this whole week, these networks have been focused more about the Cowboys, how they lost in Washington. But nobody looked at how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost to the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, they didn't play good over there. Tom Brady did not play good over there either. It's just the point where, and listen, everybody is this is, again, this is nothing personal, but they're putting things in there where everybody's betting against the Cowboys this week, and I love it. I really do love it because the type of response that I want to see, I want to see a response the way they did with the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, the standards is disgusting. How they ranking Dak Prescott, the 12th best quarterback coming to the playoff. My God, I hope Ants call up his ass for saying some dumb shit like that. I'm no disrespect. Might as well cuss it out. BLS, we're gonna have a good time. Just cuss it out today. We're gonna get out there, let it out. So a lot of stupid, dumb comments for the people who make $1 million trolling and installing poison in these young fans' mind. So again, and against the Cowboys, and I'm not saying you Tom Donnie Brennan count. I'm saying for what everybody is looking at, for what they keep talking about. Dak Prescott is not the only quarterback that had a bad week the last game of the season. The Dallas Cowboys is not the only team that lost to a team below 500. The Buccaneers did as well. And you lost to Desmond Ridder on his third start. I mean, that's the way I look at it. But, Horny, I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to go a step further. I had already put my bets in. We're going to the Super Bowl. That's just straight up. I see no other way. We're going all the way to the chip. You understand why? Look what's going on. Cowboys this, Cowboys that, and every time they respond, still respect. This is the time where Dak Prescott, I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. He's gonna get in there and he's gonna shut everybody ass up. And I'm telling you right now, if Dak Prescott, after every game that he wins in his playoff, when you see the 4 other networks getting there talking about interview, I'm saying fuck you, you too. All y'all motherfuckers, because guess what? Y'all didn't believe me yesterday. Y'all didn't believe me today. Fuck all y'all. When I get my ring and go like that, like you can't see me, do one of them John Cena looks, that's the response that Dak Prescott need to give all these networks. You know why? And what's a shame is, what's so bad is that you have former players who trade in their cleats, their football cleats for a suit and tie, and they're sticking the bow tie so far up their ass that they forget where they come from. That's the problem. You got one network, okay, with a lovely female and 3 dudes. 2 of the dudes play for a former division rival. One guy wants to be a Stephen A. Smith. The other guy is a walking CTE. He should be getting checked out because I don't know what the fuck he's saying. Matter of fact, I got a better shot than him on that network. The other network has a guy who's losing his fucking hairline. He wiped his ass right-handed today, left-handed tomorrow. He got shit all over his hand. But see, these are the guys that we want to keep following and listening to and all that. There's no accountability for these networks. None of them. Hell, we got one who made a dumb comment last Monday night that his own peers is on there wanting him out. He is a fossil. He is older than a fart. Dinosaur fart, that is. Understand that. Well, we got what gets me wrong is that we got a former quarterback. I like the guy, I really do. But I don't like his take sometimes. He's a troller. We got a former quarterback who wants to go out there and do ranking. My dude, how the hell you doing ranking when your ass was no better than a practice squad player?
And for context, it's about Dan Orlowski. He ranked the playoff quarterbacks. He put Dak just ahead of 2 rookies.
Right.
Is what he did.
Did we not see what Ocho Cinco tweeted? And instead of him defending it, the best wide receiver, Dick Rollo, welcome to our show. Understand this, y'all. If you got, and I tell everybody this, it may not be pick 6. It could be other spot. It could be WBLS. Guess what? You're gonna get the at least closest to the truth of what you want to know here. Anytime you take your time out and listen to them stations, all you getting is bullshit. Now I'm gonna say this respectfully as I can. Remember what I said? Respectfully as I can. Understand this. if you keep watching them shows, you will be dumber every day that you say something. Every time that you tweet, you will be more stupider because all you're gonna do is repeat the same stupid shit that they have said on and off, on and off, on and off. Now I'm an average Joe. I'm a regular guy. I am a nobody. But guess what? Guess what? I ain't stupid. I ain't dumb. I ain't retarded. Hell, I'm not a puppet. Those guys are puppet masters. Those guys are puppets. They're being told what to say and what to do. How dare you? You know what? That's probably the reason why they ain't where they at. Because they never succeeded in the NFL. Meanwhile, Dak Prescott, he's going to get his. And when he get his, what he should do is go to them and say, hey, you're going to wish you had one of these. Because you never got one. Because you're trash. I'm not trash. I'm putting on fucking numbers. You trash. Your ass couldn't get a job, and you sit there for a suit and tie to standing by decks being told what to say. You're trash. I'm still in the NFL. That's the bottom line. That's the thing about it. Y'all all couldn't make it. Again, you want to keep getting poisoned and more stupider, you keep listening to them networks. You want to get smart and understand what's going on. Hey, don't listen to me. I'm the crazy one here. You got Professor O, you got BJ Nix, you got Space, you got my man Tom Dunn, you got WBLS, you got Mary, you got Aisha in the building, you got all these cats that y'all can follow to get knowledge, great knowledge, not dumbness, not stupidity, not retarded. That's the problem. Don't follow these networks. Here's another thing, y'all. Don't you know right now, they are scratching their ass right now so far because they can't wait till Monday. They can't wait for Tuesday to want to trash the Cowboys, trash Dak Prescott. But see, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Because what's going to happen is this. After we bust Tom Brady's ass and the way we're going to respond, I just hope Dak Prescott looks over to them when they want to put a camera, stick the camera and the mic up your own ass and get an interview from there. That's what I would tell them. And I'm just keeping it real. I'm sorry for the cussing. It's been a long day. I'm hungry. I'm tired. You know, that's why I am more sick and tired of hearing the poison that's being put out there. And it's for you former NFL players who are in them seats, getting them little checks. Understand this real quick. For real. Seriously. Take your resignation and give it to the people who's going to want to give something value out there, because what you guys are saying is so dumb, it's stupid, it's garbage. I mean, seriously, you cannot, if you're gonna wipe your ass right-handed every day when you get up, stay consistent. When you wipe your ass right-handed today and left-handed tomorrow, you shit on your hands, and that's all y'all keep doing. There's plenty of tape out there that's showing that Monday you say one thing and Tuesday you say another one. There's no accountability. And you guys rehearse this? Garbage. Straight garbage.
Yeah. All right, with that said, Space, I know you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a buddy of mine that's a Bucks fan. He's coming over to my house. And
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. That was before Brady, like, you know, Derek Brooks and stuff like that, you know, when we were younger. But he told me, he was like, bro, you guys are getting talked about so bad in the media that I'm even worried that, like, even with Tom Brady's magic and stuff like that, I have my doubts.
45-year-old.
Because the thing that I look at is when you look at what happened from the previous years with the Cowboys compared to this go-around, I haven't heard, like, and I could be wrong, I haven't heard any one positive thing about the Cowboys in the media at all. Like, I haven't heard anybody say the Cowboys are going to win. Like, I look at every single show, because I like to see what the vibe of the media is like, right? Haven't heard anything positive. Then you have Dan Orlovsky saying Dak's the second worst quarterback in the NFC. Like, when you have this stuff amalgamate into this garbage ball, basically, what has happened historically is Dallas has responded. I can't put a finger on why. It's just, we've seen it happen this season, and we've seen it happen in previous seasons. I don't know what to tell you. It's just like, I can't put my finger on it. It's just, this is what I have seen. It would be different if it was like, okay, they're talking high on the Cowboys, and they're like, oh, the Cowboys are going to go in and destroy Tampa. But that hasn't been the narrative. It never has been. I've not heard a single person say Dallas is going to win this game by double digits. I'm not expecting them to do that. I'm just like, yo, no one's talking highly of Dallas at all. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just don't care.
Yeah,
like I don't care. Let me be clear. I don't care about being picked. I don't care about not being picked. Like, I just don't care. Like, as we're in the space, there was a particular Eagles Twitter, whatever. They're over 100,000 subs, followers, whatever. And somebody had asked something about overrated, whatever. They would do this little diatribe about the Cowboys being talked about all the time, or whatever the case may be. It's very simple. And I quote tweeted, and I put it there. If y'all follow me on Twitter, your guy Nick, go over there, follow me. You'll see it. I'm like, well, y'all tune in. ESPN, FS1, the whole nine. Y'all tune in. The Cowboys play, y'all tune in. I was like, if you're tired of hearing about it and seeing about it, don't tune in. Don't change your narrative. They're selling units. Okay? They're selling units. They're selling advertisement. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. And as long as y'all tune in, they're going to keep selling them shits. I'm sorry. So what's going to happen? So, as I always say, the Cowboys, the star keeps the light on. They dropped the viewership numbers. Top 5 games this year. Top 4 of the top 5. Number 1 for sure, but before the top 5, Cowboys related. I said this last week when the Cowboys are going to be on Monday Night Football for playoffs. Say less. It'll be the biggest game ever. It's going to happen because y'all can't stop. It's on y'all. As y'all keep talking about the Cowboys and whatever the case may be in the whole nine, y'all can't turn it off. I said the haters fuel us. But pivot that, I'll put that to the side for a second. I don't care who picks us. I don't care who doesn't pick us. I don't care what happened 5 years ago. I don't care what happened last year. I don't care what happened 10 years ago. I don't care what happened in the 90s. I don't care. It's about now. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not like, oh my God, Tom Downey there, PTSD. Like, I would never put $500 against the Cowboys. Ever. Ever. It's foolish. That's foolish shit. I'm sorry, Tom, it's foolish. Because you can't sit there and watch that game and tell me that you ultimately want the Cowboys to win. You want your money to hit. It's cool. A Cowboy hat, be up here, talk that, this, that, the third. Ultimately, though, you want your money to hit. Money matters more than fandom. It does. You can't sit up here and talk about next week. I'm glad the Cowboys won and I lost $500. You won't. You can't.
I've already been out there that says I've been on A to Z Sports twice. The Cowboys make an NFC Championship appearance. I'll do one here.
That had NFC the NFC Championship game has shit to do with Monday night.
I look at this as it's a win-win because if I
you said no, but you said NFC Championship game. You didn't say divisional.
So to answer your question first, if the Cowboys do win, I'll be happy. That's great. I can always make more money. But last year, I heard
Don't care.
I bet on
Don't care. Good. You were happy. Your money hit. You're happy. Your money hit. You bet on them. See, you a fan, but you bet on everybody else.
I love to gamble.
There's how many other games you could have gambled on, but you didn't though. You could have gambled on how many games last year? How many games in the playoffs in the wildcard round you could have gambled on outside the Cowboys game?
Outside the Cowboys game. Who was the other one? Was it the Bengals?
Only one? You only bet on one?
I think it was a parlay. I took two games.
You took 2 games. How many games you took this year?
2. I picked the Giants.
Two. But you made sure the last 2 years, the first time the Cowboys have won back-to-back 12 wins since the 90s, the back-to-back times the Cowboys went to the playoffs since the early 2000s, you bet against the Cowboys as a Cowboys fan. Man, stop playing with me, dog. Let's keep it a buck. Stop playing with me, dog. You took 2 games last year. 50% of them were betting against whoever the Cowboys played. You took 2 games this year and bet 50% of that parlay was against the Cowboys. And you gonna tell me you gonna be happy you lose this money? Man, stop playing with me, dog. Come on.
Make more money.
I make money too.
But you can
make money. My money's great. My money's fantastic. I think your money's fantastic. Hold on, be clear. I think your money's fantastic. So why on God's green earth, if your money's fantastic, that you would bet against the Cowboys? Somebody help me.
Because it's the best of a lose-lose situation.
Man, you hedging your best, dog. So you don't put your heart in it.
I have no outcome on the game whatsoever. I can't. Me watching that game has no outcome. I'm looking at it like this: if the Cowboys win, will I be happy? Sure, I'll be happy. But
You'd be happy if you got that money, though.
But if they
you'd
lose,
be happier with that
hey,
money.
Here's a great compensation because
you'd be happier with that money. That's crazy. When you could parlay any of the two games and do whatever the hell you want to do, you could parlay 2-3 other games. Not the Cowboys, but now you're going to watch that game Monday night after all the other games are played. Yeah. And here's the fucked up part about it. The other games you parlayed, here's the other thing. The other games you parlayed, if you fucked off on it, you screwed no matter what the Cowboys do Monday.
It's true.
That's crazy to me. But you a Cowboys fan.
I love the team more than anything, but it's very
I can't tell.
But it's tough.
I can't tell. You can't tell me you love the team and all these things more than anything, but you consistently in 5 years back to back picked your parlay for them to lose. That's insane to me. I appreciate you, dog. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Oh, I appreciate it.
We'll pivot, but that's wild style for me. That is wild style. I dropped 500 on the Cowboys on Monday night, whether my parlay hits or not. But boy, Monday night, if I got 500 on the line, do I really want the Cowboys to win? Do I want to double up on this money? That's crazy. Professor O, get me up out of here. I'm going to do some real felonious stuff. I'm in hoodie mode. I'm sorry.
Yes. All right, so these are going to be quick topics, and then we're going to jump right back into this game because there's a lot to talk about with this aside from Tom's bets. So, first of all, our guy John Machota, he joined us this year. Shout out to John. Put on Twitter, I'm going to put it on the screen really quick so you guys can see it. But no shock because the Cowboys are always some of the best-selling merch teams. But the top 10 list of jerseys came out, and our guy Micah Parsons was number 2 in the NFL this season in terms of top-selling jerseys. CeeDee Lamb number 5, and Dak Prescott number 6. So, does anything there surprise you? Like, are you guys surprised at all that Mike is as high as he is? Obviously, he's kind of taken over the league by storm since he was drafted last year. It's kind of interesting to see the names he's nestled in with. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes almost a guarantee to be the MVP this year. Joe Burrow. So, like, seeing a defensive end/linebacker amongst the top-tier quarterbacks in the league, it is a little bit wild. But it's awesome to see at the same time. So just want to put that out there so you guys can see. That's not really a topic. I just wanted to share that. Now we're going to talk about the All-Pro team. So 2 different lists came out this week. We had the players' inaugural All-Pro team, and we had Zach Martin was a first-team All-Pro according to the players, and Kevontae Turpin. So the Turpin one kind of surprised a lot of us. Shout out to him. He's a rookie. Came a long way. He's been playing football since February. So it's a crazy story that he was even considered for that and got that nomination. But the more important one came out, which is the AP All-Pro. It's the Associated Press All-Pro team. And the Cowboys had 2 first-team All-Pros, Zach Martin and Micah Parsons, and a second team in CeeDee Lamb. So the question to you guys, starting with, we're going to go Space, the Lunatic, BLS, Spoonie. We're just going to start with Space, and I'll flip order from there. Is there anybody on the Cowboys that you think should have been a first or second team All-Pro? Or are you good with the list as is?
Brett Maher should have been on there.
Yeah.
It's awesome, Goose.
I just look, man. I was kind of pissed off that he didn't. Then listen, you're talking to a dude that I was like, why the hell are we bringing Maher back? And he really, really proved me wrong. The fact of the matter is how this guy was kicking 60-yard field goals, and he didn't miss a whole lot of field goals. Well, he only missed like 2 or 3. I could be wrong. I don't know exactly how many he missed, but like it wasn't like any. Listen, what sealed for me the Pro Bowl or the All-Pro nod was what he did in Minnesota. This man kicks a 60-yard field goal. They do their dumb fuckery with the refs and stuff. Then he nails it again. I'm like, yo, come on now.
Yeah.
Like, dude, he should have been on there. I'm pissed he wasn't a Pro Bowler. But you know what? Doesn't matter. But I do think he should have gotten his nod on the All-Pro team, though.
Yeah, fair. DeLunatic, what about you? Zach Martin, Micah Parsons, first team All-Pros, and then we had CD as second team All-Pro. You good with the list, or is there any snubs that you want to point out? All right, DeLunatic, we'll come back to you. BLS, what about you?
I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. I know it's hard to make the All-Pro list, so it's like and the way I look at it is like if I were to add somebody from the Cowboys, I would have to think of somebody who is on there who I would have to take off. And I just off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody. I will say I think it's interesting that with the players all pro list, one of the theories about why Micah was left off was because of the way they have to do the voting based on like you have to vote for somebody who either plays your position or somebody who line up against. And so people were like, oh, well, because Micah plays multiple positions, there might have been some confusion, or maybe the right people couldn't vote for him. And then in the AP All-Pro, they didn't have him as a linebacker, which I think is his official like position on the roster. So that was interesting to me. And yeah, super proud of CD. That's it. But yeah, I can't think of any others I would make.
Those lists are tough too because aside from linebackers, a lot of positions only have one player selected. Except there's a few exceptions like interior defensive linemen, and that is always kind of a point of contention too because a lot of times you get 2-3 techs and not the big bodied one tech, which frustrates players. So yeah, personally I think the 3 that made it are the ones that deserve it. There's definitely guys like Brett Maher, absolutely it should be in consideration, and then you could probably make an argument for Tony Pollard. He cracked 1K, had 12 touchdowns, was a huge part of our offense.
Well, take the answers off the table here for us.
All right, let's go to Spoonie. Spoonie, do you have any disagreement? Do you agree with the list? What do you think of the All-Pro team?
I don't agree with listen, congrats to everybody who has made it. I'm not one of those fans who try to find a way to stick my guy on a All-Pro voting because of a team that I don't like has their guy. I'm going to be honest. How the hell did James Bradbury make it second team over Diggs? How did that happen? And listen, it's Freestyle Friday, right? We can get a little funky, right? Well, here's the thing. Who has he guarded? Did the 8... When they voted, did they look in the list? Well, which wide receiver did he guard? Did the Texans wide receivers, the Colts wide receivers? I mean, he had to guard guys from the Bengals? Nah, he didn't. He didn't get nobody from the Bengals, right? He pay anybody like Cooper Rush? Nah, he didn't have to do that. I mean, Diggs followed this year. He followed. I mean, Justin Jefferson's numbers. My God, Jefferson's numbers. The receiver who close to a 2,000-yard season, first ever, right? I mean, what happened with that? Does that not does that qualify for a corner to get recognized by? I mean, Diggs played against very good wide receivers this year, and I think Bradbury went because of how the total defense was against these garbage teams. I'm just keeping it real, keeping it a buck. So, if answer your question, Professor, I am pissed off that Diggs did not at least make the second team. At least make the second team. He should have made it.
Okay. What about you, Tom?
The hard part about the All-Pro list is that usually when you are kicking someone off or changing names, you're taking off usually a great player. And the one I have to agree with Space Cowboy was Brett Maher. I don't know how Brett Maher did not make that list because, I mean, I remember when he came in, people like me rolled their eyes saying, we're trying this again. And I ate crow on him, and I'm happy to admit that I am eating crow on him. And he's been money most of the year. And I ask what kicker has been better than him on a weekly basis with the amount of range and difficulty that he's endured. I just don't see it. So I think, ironically, I agree with Space that I think Brett Maher is the biggest snub.
I've got the voting list up if y'all want to know where he fell, since a couple people brought him up.
Yeah, go ahead.
So,
please.
For special teams under place kickers, they've got Daniel Carlson, number 1, with 85 points, 25 first place votes. Justin Tucker was second with 52 points, 12 first place votes. Jason Myers of Seattle had 32 points, 7 first place votes. And Brett Maher had 9 points with 1 first place vote. So he was 4th. So he got consideration, just not enough points to beat out Tucker, Carlson, or Myers. And I haven't paid much attention to Seattle this year, so I don't know what that guy was doing. But I have heard a lot about Justin Tucker, and he's been money too. So.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you.
I mean, again, like we talked about, it's an important award for players because when they're doing contract negotiations, All Pro carries a lot more weight than Pro Bowl. It just always has. So it's a big deal to be on that list. CD Lamb had a comment today where he said I believe he said he got a text message, or I think he said he got a text message last night telling him that he was going to make the All-Pro team and like how impactful and special that was for him, because his road to get there wasn't necessarily what he would have wanted, and it's hard to make that list. So I thought that was a good conversation since it just came out today. But I want to talk about the Cowboys heading into this game. And I want to hear what the chat has to say about this, and I want to hear what you guys have to say about this too. So I'm curious the confidence level you guys have on the panel and in the chat with each unit of the Cowboys. I want to know how you feel about the offense, the defense, and the special teams. Like, how much do you truly trust each unit? So I have a scenario, and we know that as the regular season goes, NFL games are tight. They're close. You don't have a lot of blowouts in general. In the postseason, typically that margin shrinks even more. Like a one-possession game happens all the time in the postseason. So it's fairly likely that could pop up. So I came up with 3 scenarios, and I want to run it by you guys and see how you guys feel about it. I'm going to put it on the screen right now. So how much do you trust each phase to win the game in the playoffs against the Bucs? Starting with the offense. So the scenario is the Bucs are leading 19-13 with 1 minute left in the fourth quarter. The Cowboys have the ball on their own 25-yard line with no timeouts. Will the Cowboys drive downfield to score and win the game 20-19? So let's start with Space Cowboy. That's the scenario. It's on the screen. Feel free to read it. But basically, the Cowboys have 1 minute. They have to score. No timeouts. They have to drive 75 yards. Do or die.
Yeah.
Trust the Cowboys offense to do it.
Yes, I do.
Okay. What about you, Tom?
This sounds really, really familiar. Is there a particular reason why you worded it this way?
Just for fun.
For fun. Okay. If they don't do a QB sneak to try to, clock the ball, yes, I think they can do it.
Will they?
Oh man, I'll go.
Not for not for $500. He doesn't want him to do it.
Oh gosh.
For $500, he's like, no, I don't want him to do it.
I'll say moderate. I have my reservations, but I'll be moderate.
He's hedging his bets there. That's what he's doing. He's hedging his bets.
All right, DLS, what do you think? Will the Cowboys score and win the game in that scenario?
Yes.
Okay. Spoonie.
Yes, sir.
Knicks.
I believe they will. Yep.
Nah, man. He's good as money. That's what it is.
I'm not asking about him. I'm asking about you.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Of course. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So the chat we have looks like most people are on board and they think the Cowboys offense will do it, which is interesting. I say yes. I do feel confident the Cowboys with that situation would go downfield to score to win the game. Now, do you trust the defense? The exact same scenario. The Cowboys are leading this time 19-13, so we're up by 6 points with 1 minute left in the fourth quarter. Tom Brady and the Bucs just got the ball on their own 25-yard line. Again, no timeouts. Will the Cowboys defense stop the Bucs from driving downfield and score? Or will they lose the game 20-19? We'll go with Space Cowboy again. Do you trust the defense in this scenario?
I do, yeah.
Okay. BLS.
Yes.
Okay. Tom.
Nope.
Oh boy, I'll say yes because they have no timeouts.
Okay. Spoonie.
You're gonna put Pampers on Tom Brady. Yes.
Knicks.
I think it's if the Cowboys play traditional defense, it's a yes.
Mm-hmm.
If they decide to do this weird, we're going to do the prevent from the 25 on, I think it's a problem.
Okay. So,
but ultimately, you want to ask me what I think they'll do?
Are you leaning more towards a yes on that one or no?
That's hard.
It is hard.
Man, we've seen. Here's the thing. We have seen teams. Take the Cowboys out of the equation for a second, right? We have seen teams time and time again in those scenarios for whatever reason, which is crazy because these guys make millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, and ultimately when they get into these scenarios, they go to prevent when we've seen time and time and time again it doesn't work. So, yeah, man. I mean, I hope it's for everybody that loves the Jordan wearing hat to the back Dan Quinn, he doesn't do that. as long as they don't play prevent in that scenario, yes, they'll do it.
Okay.
Prevent prevents you from winning the game, and I don't care what team it is. Take the Cowboys out of it. I don't care who it is. Like, put the scenario with any team. If you go to prevent, it's a problem.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So I hate to be the Debbie Downer on this one. I think the Cowboys would lose in this scenario just because I've seen Tom Brady do this that many times in his career. They're the home team. I'm not saying they're going to get home cooking from the ref. I don't trust our cornerback 2 position right now. I know a minute is not that much time, but it really is because you can spike the ball, get out of bounds, stop the clock, matriculate downfield. And again, defenses typically are trying to avoid giving up the plays, so they're going to give you the middle of the field for chunk yardage. We saw the exact same scenario play out against the Jaguars essentially. And, so I do think in this scenario, I trust the offense. We would go down and field and score to win the game. I don't trust the defense as much right now, which is a shame because early in the season I would have absolutely said yes, but the way that they played the last 4 weeks, really the last 6 games, I don't think we would win, unfortunately. So that's just my honest answer there. So special teams, the Bucs are leading 19-17 with 5 seconds left in the fourth quarter. The Cowboys drove downfield. They got the ball to the 35-yard line. Will Brett Maher make the 52-yard field goal as time expires to win 20-17? Space Cowboy, does he make the kick?
Yeah, I think he does.
Okay. BLS.
Yes.
Okay. Tom.
Money, absolutely.
Okay. Spoonie.
Damn your $500.
Exactly.
Spoonie.
No, so yeah.
Okay. Knicks.
Boy, what a time to be alive, Cowboys Nation. Go back to the first time he was here, you'd probably be indifferent, and then go back to the preseason, right? And once he got brought on board, and he told us, right? Let's be honest and put somebody on Brett's name. He said, "I'm a different kicker than I was here the first time," and we all kind of rolled our eyes, and it sounds good, but we talked about saying, well, hey, look, he was 15-16 in New Orleans the previous year. But as the seasons went, I think if this question was asked before week 1, it might have been a resounding no in this room. But right now, and I'm with you, I'm with you about the defense. I believe in more scenario 3 than probably 2 because I don't know how they're going to play scenario 2 with the defense. So yes.
Yeah, it's funny. That's exactly where I was going with this when I kind of came up with this idea in my head. Scenario 3 with Brett Maher is the scenario nobody would have picked in training camp. Nobody would have picked that week 2 or 3. But now that's the scenario I think most people feel most confident in, that he would make that kick with all the marbles on the table, do or die, go home. I think almost all of us, from what I'm gathering, probably feel most confident with that scenario. A 52-yarder with all the pressure against you is not an easy kick. But I trust him based on what he's done this year. So I absolutely believe in that scenario. So it's funny because the defense carried us early in the season. The offense after week 7 has carried us more so than the defense. But the special teams, specifically at kicker, I feel most confident of any of the 3 scenarios.
I feel it. I love it. Lunatic is back. Lunatic, in that scenario, 52-yarder, Brett Maher to win the game. Is he nailing it or not?
I would go to Toxic Tom Downey's burner account and in DM saying, "You lost the money, because he is Money Maher. He has only missed, 2? One of them being a 62-yarder? That was just one of those heat checks that he tried that. Over 50, I think he's only missed 2. Maybe 3, but 57, and 62. He is money. Thank you, Maher, for giving us our bathroom breaks back. Where before we were like, oh my God, it's under 40. What the heck's gonna happen? And that point after was against Washington was not his fault. That was Anger who bobbled the ball, and just Maher's rhythm was off. That's why he missed that point after.
The Lunatic. So since you weren't here for the first 2. Do you trust the offense down by 6 with 1 minute left, no timeouts in the fourth quarter to drive 75 yards to score to win the game?
You know who I trust? T.Y. Hilton. Yes, I do. I trust CeeDee Lamb. I trust Schultz. And I am trusting more and more T.Y. Hilton. That experience is invaluable. His steadiness, his experience saying, look, this is what we can do. That is when, everything's flying out the window. This is coming at you 1,000 miles an hour. That steady experience is invaluable. So, yes, I would trust the offense, specifically T.Y. Hilton, who, as he said, hey, you forget about me? Oh, that's on you.
What about the defense? Exact same scenario. We're up by 6 this time. Brady has the ball with the chance to go down and win. Do you trust the defense to stop the Bucs offense from scoring a touchdown?
I caught what Nick said. Traditional defense, no. But here's what I want to do. Dan Quinn, don't reinvent the wheel. Look at what they did with the Jets with Revis Island. Hey, Diggs, you got Evans one-on-one. I'm going to help everybody else. If they play that defense, yes, I do trust our defense, because our defense said, some of the players, hey, we kind of overlooked the Green Bay game because the one we were looking for was Minnesota. And what did they do against Minnesota? Statement game. They are overlooking the Commanders, because what game are they looking for? Tampa Bay. And what do they want to do? Statement game.
They overlooked it because we didn't even bring the heated benches with us this time. We're like, we'll just sit on your cold benches. It's good. We don't care. Whatever. We're just here to show up. Doesn't matter. All right, so before we jump fully into this game, quick question, and this is exactly why I set those 3 scenarios up. 2021 playoffs versus the 2022 playoffs. How do you feel about this team versus the last team? Were you more confident last year heading into the postseason, or do you feel better about this team heading into the postseason? We're going to start with Space Cowboy again. Which team did you feel better about heading into the playoff? And you could factor in who we're playing. You could factor in home and away, whatever you think. But how do you feel about this year's team versus last year's team?
I'm more comfortable with this year's team because I think with this year's team, there wasn't that, I guess you could say, or high margin of error. Like, the division's going to be yours. You're going to get a playoff spot. You're going to just play whoever. And you really weren't challenged as a team. I'm going to just keep it honest, right? This go-around, you did not win the division, but you still went 12-5. Sure, you have a weaker opponent in the wild card round, but it doesn't look like this team's taking anything for granted, which I respect more about this team than last go-around. And also, no one's thinking you're going to do anything this go-around. Expectations are lower. And we have seen historically that if the Cowboys have this doubt on them, they'll come out and take care of business. So, also, I completely forgot we're playing the blue jerseys and stuff like that. I love it. I love it that we're playing with the blue jerseys. I love it that we have the white pants. I like we're playing on Monday Night Football. It's something different, and I don't want to hear because here's the thing, right? What do you got to lose? Well, all these superstitions are going your way. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't. It really doesn't. No one's expecting to do shit this postseason. So prove them all wrong. I think this team's got it better than the other team.
All right, so far, 1 vote for the 2022 team heading into the postseason. BLS, which team did you feel more confident about?
You said this team or which one?
This year's team heading into the postseason or last year? Both were 12-5 teams, different circumstances, with one having a home and one being away. But which team did you feel better about heading into the postseason?
That's what I thought you said. Sorry, ADHD. I feel more confident in this one. Last season, I just remember there being a lot of talk about the Cowboys' lack of discipline. There were a lot of people speculating that they wouldn't be physical enough, and so it just kind of felt like even before that game started, people were like, oh yeah, if the 49ers score first, the Cowboys are toast. There was just kind of that cloud. You know, even though a lot of people still pick the Cowboys to win, it's just like the reasons that they gave for the possibility that the Cowboys would lose were just things that were so simple to come by in the playoffs. From my perspective, it's like, okay, so y'all are saying you think the Cowboys will win, but it sounds like you actually expect them to lose. This season, I see a team that doesn't have nearly as many problems with discipline. Not that they're perfect, but they've definitely worked on the penalties. You know, they're trending downward there. I think they have what it takes to be physical when they need to be, especially against the Bucs brand of physicality. You know, I'm not talking about the most physical teams in NFL, but, you know, whenever we have seen the Bucs try to get physical, what we've seen from them, I think is something that the Cowboys can definitely handle. I think there's been a lot of growth from this last season to this season, you know, both like on the field and off. I think we see like Dak being a much better leader. We've seen CD be a much better wide receiver, a better route runner. You know, we've seen like rookies come in on the defense and just do amazing things. So I have a lot of confidence in this team, you know.
All right, so far we're 2-0 leading with the 2022 team. Tom, I'm really interested to hear your answer in particular. Everyone's answer is going to be interesting, but I'm curious to see where you feel, because you're typically a little bit more pessimistic. As
he has $500. Why? He has $500.
He bet against them last year, so that doesn't matter. So,
Tom, how much did you bet last year? Wait. How much did you bet last year?
I think it was like $200-$300. I can't.
Yeah. So that tells us everything we know. 200, 300 last year, 500 this year. We know.
I think if I'll keep it a buck. Last year's team, I felt more-ish confident. It was probably the biggest missed opportunity I can think since 2007. You were one of the least injured teams in the entire NFL. You had your starting offensive line, including Terrence Steele and Tyron Smith going in there. You had Amari Cooper and you had CeeDee Lamb. You were home and you were playing against Jimmy Garoppolo. Biggest missed opportunity since 2007. The Cowboys lost that game because they got in their own way. And if you look at the defense too, the defense last year still led the league in turnovers. And if you look at the back end of this season to the back end of last season, we're not nearly giving up as many chunk plays, especially at the cornerback 2 position, which right now is a revolving door. Last year's team, that reminded me of 2016. But if the Cowboys had gone in with a not bullshit game plan, they would have beat the 49ers. And I really hope that the lack of run game this year and the revolving door on the offensive line doesn't really translate. And what someone just said, that 2-minute drive or a minute to go where we had a chance to beat the 49ers was pitiful. So I thought last year's team injury.
It was Todd couldn't beat him, right? It was Todd, right? You could have tied him unless you went for 2. Am I chilling? Am I wrong there?
I'm talking about the last minute drive where they did the quarterback sneak and they had a chance to. There was a slow start to start the game.
Yeah, I got you.
And the amount of talent that last year's team had, the fact that they went one and done with that talented of a team, I felt last year that was the year they would have made it out of the wild card round if it was going to happen. So.
And Tom, to be fair, in the chat, it's kind of a mixed bag. So far in the panel, we're 2-1 last year versus this year. In the chat, it's a little bit more mixed too, because I think you could definitely make the argument we were more talented last year heading in. But which team do you feel more confident? Because we know talent's not everything. So it's
and healthier.
Yeah, and healthier. So Spoonie, where are you at in this equation? 2022 team or 2021 team? Which did you feel better about?
22. My reasons why is that the issues that we faced this season, I don't think the team last year would have been able to hold up. This year's team, the 22 team, never fell in the slump like last year's team. Losing to teams like the Raiders and Broncos, the way they lost, we haven't lost any game like that aside from the Washington Commanders, the last game of the season. When Dak Prescott went down this year, and we was able to win to go 4-1, and our defense, did a great job. I don't think last year's team could have handled that as well. I think this year's team, the 22 team, they settled into McCarthy's culture. They understand what to do. We haven't lost 2 games in a row this year at all. We respond when we need to respond. When there was an issue with the penalties, the Cowboys fixed it up. Not the greatest, but well enough for them to win some games this year. When it comes down to the front office, if you can add that in, the front office was more active this year than it was last year, understanding what's ahead and what this team needs to do to try to succeed. So I'm going with this year's team. On top of that, they're more focused. This, in my opinion, is less talent. Losing Marvin Cooper was big, and we're still able to do what we need to do moving forward. I mean, not as good as last year, but well enough. This year's team is much better for me.
All right, so 3-1 so far, 2022 versus 2021. DeLunatic, where are you at on this?
I'm more confident in this year's squad simply because they have shown it on both sides of the ball. Now we need to show it together in one game. Whereas last year, we were trending downward. And yes, I was one of those, San Francisco, that's not a very good matchup. But at least we're getting him at home. But here, it's like, hey, it's on the road. It's tougher. Yes, whatever stat you want to throw out, 1-4 on the grass, 0-7, whatever. But our squad has shown it in the past, and they're trending. Other than the blip on the radar every once in a while, which happens in the NFL because they're humans. They can't be up for every single game. They're gonna have, but McCarthy has kept them on that track. Resiliency from losing Dak to, T. Smith in the open practice, and I'm thinking, that's the end of his career. Here he is back, and I know one thing, that pride will kick in, whereas last year I was thinking, we'll make it out of division simply because we're at home. We just need to play well. This year, I know we'll make it out of the wild card round simply because we are playing well, and we're pissed off about that showing, and that everybody and their mothers, they're saying, Brady, Bucks. They're forgetting who is 12-5 and who was 8-9.
All right, so we are 4-1 right now on this year's team versus last year's team. Nix, what about you?
You know what's funny to me about, last year's team? And look, I get it. Won the division, whatever happened, right? They lost to the Niners, right? They lost. And then somehow that's how the story stopped. It's funny to me. They lost to the Niners. The story stopped. Niners went on the road to Lambeau. Number 1 seed, right? I'm sorry. Correct me if I'm wrong. They were number 1 seed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Didn't score offensive touchdown and beat them, right? Cool. Then they went to LA, who they had swept them in the regular season, and they were up 10 points in the fourth quarter, and gave the game away.
And the safety dropped the easiest interception he would ever have in his entire career.
Ever.
That would have sealed it. They would have been in the Super Bowl.
So it's not like the Cowboys lost to a team that didn't do nothing. But funny how the media works and what happens. We hear about the Cowboys and Dak Prescott and whatever happened, and Aaron Rodgers off the hook. Let me be clear real quick. Aaron Rodgers went to the Super Bowl win. Help me out.
2010?
10. What year are we in?
2023.
23. Cool. Not been back, right? Okay. Number 1 seed last year. Didn't win a game. Number 1 seed didn't win a game. Cool. Hey, year before that, number 1 seed dropped the ball at home against Tampa. Hey, not number 1 seed. Dez catch, non-catch, whatever. Went to Seattle. Dropped the ball. But Aaron Rodgers somehow is a top 5 quarterback all time.
You're forgetting the 15-1 season too.
Man, hey, I ain't even look, Space. I can keep going.
Yes.
I just want to highlight that shit. Space, I'm with you. I can keep going. But it's funny how we cherry pick these quarterbacks and what's happening and whatever the case may be and the whole nine. Man, stop. I like All I need to know is my man only bet $200-300 last year. He bet $500 this year. So that's all I need to know. He believed more in the team last year than he does this year. It is what it is. Ultimately, on paper, the team is better. However, Dak Prescott's more healthier. However, CeeDee Lamb is walking through the dadgum door. Oh, hey, by the way, nobody all night tonight. We haven't talked about it. Tony Pollard, 1,000 yards rushing. Been waiting for that to happen. Here's what it is and what's going on there. We're like, my heart doesn't pump Kool-Aid. Let me say it that way. Doesn't pump Kool-Aid. I last year told y'all I wanted the smoke. I'm not changing right now. I want the smoke again. Be clear. They're 8-9 in the worst division in the NFC.
Not talked about enough.
Worst division in the NFC. They are 8-9. Hey, guess what? Guess who else lost in Week 18? The Bucks on the road against Tampa against a rookie quarterback. I don't know what to tell y'all. Was in the same fashion, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Oh, we're doing style points and L's now or whatever. That's cool. It's fine. They lost. Doesn't matter. They lost. They're 8-9. And y'all scary? Man, on my block, man, I'm never scared. You here till you're not here. The playoffs, there's only one team that's going to get there. I don't care. The best part about everything that's happening right now, the Cowboys have found a way to go to back-to-back playoffs since, like, what, 06, 07? Somewhere around there? I don't know.
07, 08.
07, 08. Okay, boom. Say less. Almost 15 years. On the other side of that, hey, y'all want to get Mike McCarthy up out of here? You haven't won back-to-back seasons of 12 or more games since the 90s. It is what it is. I'm not betting 500 against this team, against the 8-9 team. That's crazy to me. But here we are. And look, we'll show back up, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't understand the antithesis or the scariness. And look, and I understood what I was going to last year. I understood who San Francisco was. Spoony, we had those conversations. Yeah. We showed up in the building. You know what I do know? For what it's worth, Kellen Moore has not sent not one or two offensive linemen in pass routes that we saw in the playoffs last year. That gives me hope. I'm just saying. That gives me hope. He hasn't been sending offensive linemen in the pass routes. So there's an advancement here, if you will. But again, we here. It's what it is. It's an 8-9 team. Tom Brady be damned, or whatever the case may be. Man, we are here. It's happening. Like, I don't know. I honestly, as I'm trying to run through my rundown of, have the Cowboys ever had to go face a team that had a losing record in the playoffs? I don't really know. That's a great stat. Oh, we can look that up. I don't think they have. We need to dial that up if they have. But it's a team with a losing record in the playoffs with a team that is 12-5. Now, granted, it's this offense not as talented as last year. However, the NFC in general is not as talented as last year. Pause. The Cowboys went against a number one division winning schedule this year. Pause again. They have more wins. Pick your favorite team. Pick your favorite quarterback. Who do you like? Who's your favorite quarterback? Space. Take Dak out of the equation. Who's your favorite quarterback outside of Dak? Who is he?
Pat Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes. Okay. BLS. Who's your favorite quarterback outside of Dak Prescott?
Hurts.
Hurts. Okay. Hurts. Okay. Bet. All right. Mr. $500. Who's your favorite quarterback outside of Dak?
Cooper Rush. Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, thank you. Spoony, who's your guy?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen? Okay, Professor, who's your guy? What? Oh, he had to pull the headset off. Oh, who's your guy?
I'll go with Mahomes.
Mahomes, cool. Guess what? The Cowboys have more games that they have won versus teams 500 or above than any of them. Any of them. That's the difference between this 12-5 team on the road than the 12-5 team that sat at home and lost. They literally have more wins than any other team in the NFL versus teams 500 and plus. Take that for you want. It's 0-0 now. Move forward. But if you're looking for the difference between the 12-5 right now and the 12-5 here, it is what it is. So I don't care, man. I'm just saying. That's where we are. That's where we're at.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to answer Nix's question. There have only been, so you have 1982 as the outlier because of how long ago. You've had, since 2010, 4 teams make the playoffs with losing records. Seattle Seahawks went 7-9, won the West.
Yep.
Carolina Panthers in 2014.
Was that the one where they beat the Saints, right?
That was the Beastquake.
Yeah. The Beastquake, yeah.
The Carolina Panthers, 7-8-1. They beat the 4th string, 5th string quarterback Cardinals in one of the worst playoff games I've ever witnessed in my entire life. The 2020 Washington football team, which conveniently the team that beat them went on to win the Super Bowl. And 2023, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 8-9. Result to be determined.
True.
It's interesting. And I'll answer the question really quickly. I definitely understand the argument for the 2021 team. We were healthier at the cornerback position. We were the division champs. We just beat the brakes off of the Eagles. Like, we were riding high going into that playoff. But the matchup we all knew was a significantly tougher opponent, even though it was at home, than what we're playing this year. So for me, it has to be the 2022 team. And when I was looking at the statistics and kind of breaking it down, I was like, the 2022 team is better objectively than the 2021 team was, because all the things that you look at saying, well, turnover margin, right? They led the league in turnover margin last year. They also led the league in turnover margin this year. They had 34 takeaways last year. They had 33 takeaways this year. We have more pressures last year, but we had more sacks this year. The defense gave up less points this year. We were better in the red zone this year.
I guess a number one schedule. Yeah. And I guess it's a first place schedule that matters, unlike the year before.
We were able to run the ball better this year. We scored more rushing touchdowns this year. We had less penalties this year. So, like, pretty much all the metrics that actually are significant, the Cowboys this year were better. The one stat people will point to is, well, last year the offense scored more points. They led the league last year. However, since week 7, this team has scored more points per game than we did last year. So we actually are riding, and even if you look at, take all the stats out of it, momentum-wise, yeah, we won the game last year, the last game of the year. This year we lost. But the last 8 games of the season, which is the second half of the season, because we have that one game now in the middle, 17 games, we were 5-3 in the last 8 last year, and we're 6-2 in the last 8 this year. So we actually have more momentum, better statistics. The only difference is talent level.
He's saying that
based
500
on last year. So it's just interesting when you think about it, because I feel like when I asked that question, I'm kind of surprised that we got as many 2022s. Maybe it's a little bit recency bias, maybe not. I thought people would feel better about last year's team, because that was my initial take, was siding with Tom in a lot of the chat was, well, last year we were healthier in a lot of key positions than we are this year. But this year's team has handled adversity better, and they've won on the more important stats, like how we settled for field goals a lot last year. We scored touchdowns this year. We got more sacks this year. We kept up with the takeaways. The big difference is going to be penalties we're better at, and giveaways we're worse at. But pretty much everything else, we're at least equal, not even just record-wise, performance-wise and production-wise to last year. But we have a significantly easier opponent this year, even though it's on the road. So I absolutely have to take the 2022 team over last year's team, confidence-wise, heading into the matchup, because we knew that 49ers would be tough. We know the Bucs can beat us. We know Tom Brady and what he's done. But nothing else about the Bucs says that they should beat us. They're the worst rushing team in the NFL.
Less than 80 yards per game.
It's just crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
If this team didn't have a star on his helmet, it would be respected. That's just it. I mean, let's be honest. When you heard Knicks come out and say we're 12-5 against the number one schedule, right?
Great point. I'm sorry, I didn't even bring that up. Great point.
They do have a what you call it, preview when the schedule comes out, right? They do the rankings, X, Y, and Z. Do you know how many so-called experts gave the Cowboys a losing record with this schedule? Now imagine that, and we faced the adversity that we had to face. 12-5. We beat 2 playoff teams that are in the playoffs. No, 3. Giants, Eagles, and the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, you really are the Bengals?
They're not in the playoff this year. We took them out. Oh, pardon me. Yes, they are.
my bruh.
Take him out. Take him out.
He said Cooper Rush beat him, so they just didn't even qualify.
Disqualified.
It's the Hunger.
Out of here.
I'm sorry.
Disqualified.
I make the Rams. Excuse me, the Rams. I'll think about the Rams.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it. This team has done so well that if we don't talk about it,
Minnesota. Wait, whoa. You left on Minnesota as well.
Yeah, we beat Minnesota.
Another one. I'm just going to do the games right now. You said, well, I'm just keep adding them if I hear them, Spoon. I'm sorry.
No. It's just the fact of the matter is that we have
another
to
one
together. You know, the regular blue collar folks here to talk about it, right? Because again, these are the things.
You know, these $500 bet people.
These things are not being said on the networks. So we again, when people are so quick to fire McCarthy, why would you want to fire a coach to give us 25 wins and single-digit loss in 2 years? We haven't had that in a long time. You want to go back to the Garrett era? You want to go back to when we lose one guy, the whole team folds? You want to go to situations like that? No. We are in a good situation. It's about just capitalizing what we have and add on to it. Front office, get more busier, add more plays. It's only one Super Bowl. It's only one, and I get it. We haven't went in a long time. If we went around the block here and asked, and everybody told our age, my God, you could imagine what were we doing back then in the 90s? I had hair.
I'm not mad, Aisha. It's just funny to me.
You understand? I had a people. I had a transport bag, right? BJ was rocking cross colors. Okay?
I was watching Power Rangers, the OG version. That's what I was doing. I was a Green Ranger fan.
Come on.
Computers were a
Not the Black Ranger, though.
I'm sorry, Professor. Did we not rush home to find out who the White Ranger is? Rest in peace. Did we not go home to rush? Who's the White Ranger?
We did.
Those were the
I was
years.
jumping on trampolines with my neighbors, waiting for my mom to call me at 4:30 to let me know Power Rangers was on. That's where I was at in my life last time we went.
I wasn't even there.
Baby, and we still haven't seen Nanny's face. But this is what it's been a long time, yes. But right now, we are closer than ever before. Than ever. I'm sorry why these networks keep on with the bashing as if, they haven't won in 26 years. X, Y, Z. How about the team that haven't won at all? If we haven't won anything, what about the team that haven't won at all? Where they at? Where they mention that? It's sickening. And guess what? And I say this respectfully. Come Tuesday, receipts will be put out there. And I just hope people have the accountability to come out there and say, hey, he was wrong, X, Y, and Z, yada in the third. Don't go out there and try to flip the script of why they won and things like that. Because I'm going to tell you, this team is definitely coming. And make no mistake about it, that's Tom Brady. That is the GOAT. Listen, I may go off of my sermon. It's all out of love. It's passion. It's fan base and everything like that. But yeah, it's going to be a game. But understand this. We are coming. We got guys in this team who are hungry for it. And the thing about it is the leadership. You guys wanted, before we was cats. We are dogs now. Michael Parsons wants this. Javon Curtis wants this. D-Law wants this. Zeke wants this. Did we not hear what Zeke said during this week of practice? It was so focused. They are ready. So, you know what? Last year's team, that was last year's team. I like what Josh, I forgot the brother's name, but he said something. Last year's team was talent. This year's team is about mentality, and I love it. And I see it because that's what it's all about.
Oh, it's culture. It's culture. Not McCarthy. Culture.
Hey,
but
guess what? The culture is great right now.
All right, guys. I want to ask y'all real quick. We're an hour and 30, a little over minutes in. How much time y'all got? Let me know so I can pivot this show a little bit because Freestyle Friday is about everybody in the building and what we're doing. How much time, Spoonie? How much time you got?
Yeah, I'm good for an hour.
Okay. All right. For those, okay. So let me ask this question. Because I saw this in the Twitter space and what was going on.
I heard that too.
I want to get everybody's opinion here. It's probably mine. I'll be honest with you. Let me look. No. Actually,
it's mine. It literally just started like since we've been here.
Look. See, I'm not on BLS. If you see right behind me, I just disconnect. Look, instead of putting a battery in it, I just took it down.
I can't take mine down. Like I can only see where the battery is, but like even when I took the battery out, it was still doing it. I don't know what to do.
Look, I just unhooked mine. I didn't care no more.
He ripped that shit out of the fucking ceiling.
I was like, I'm done. I don't even care. I don't want to hear this shit no more.
Forget my family's safety. I'm not about to be
if this fucking shit burns down, fuck it.
Here's the thing. My room is all the way in the very far back. If the fire starts here, there's like 3 others that's going to catch it first, and we're good. Like I balance how this thing's going to work. That's what I've done.
Sprinkler system for, so I don't have to hear this beep.
I don't know about sprinkler. I neither here nor there. Okay. Big spectrum. And let's say my guy's going to hit his $500 bet. Did you say the points? I didn't know. Was it straight up, or did you say the points? Forget your parlay. I guess the spread. Is that what you did?
I did the spread. Took the points. 3.5 at the time. Got in early.
Oh my God, you're so weak. But neither here nor there. Here's where we're at. Ultimately. No, actually, never mind. Man, this is Freestyle Friday. We ain't talking about that shit. Never mind. I was going to ask this question about some different things I saw. But you know what? Never mind all that. I want to go with how many points did the Cowboys win by? Does Toxic Tom cover his $500 bet? What'd you get? You getting plus 3.5?
Yeah.
Plus 3.5 for his parlay. Oh, does he win his 3.5 bet?
Yes.
Oh, give me the score.
So, I kind of
look how happy he is. Look at his pearly whites right now. He's like, I win money and they win. Oh my God!
Perfect scenario.
The scenario I was giving earlier, I feel like these special teams game-winning field goal or game-winning opportunity probably. I think it'll be 3 points, 2 points, something like that. Yeah, so he'll win.
All right, Spoonie. Does his 3.5 cover the Cowboys win?
Cowboys.
What score?
35-14 Cowboys.
Oh, flush it. Say less. BLS. Does his do the Cowboys win and he wins with his 3.5 secure bet?
100%.
Ooh, what's your score? You got a score?
I'm gonna go. I think it's gonna be a good one. I'm gonna go 35-20.
Oh, it was 35-20 Cowboys. He loses. He only gets plus 3.5.
We don't want that.
3.5.
I don't know.
Flush him then.
Yeah, no. So, yeah, whatever.
Flush him.
What you said?
35-20.
35.
And I said 35. Oh, wait here.
Oh yeah. Spoonie, BLS. Yeah. All right. Space.
It's there.
Is he going to cover and we win?
No, it's going to be like 26-21.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Tom.
Sorry, Tom.
It's me.
Sorry, Tom.
I just bought a boat. No.
Let's get over here to the Lunatic. Lunatic, is he going to cover the bet? He has Bucks plus 3.5.
You know what's interesting? Listening to Tampa Bay commentators, you know who complains more than Cowboys Nation about their team?
Oh, here we go.
The Bucks fans. They're complaining about their offense. They're complaining about their defense. They're complaining about their run game. They're complaining about this and that, injuries. So that's why I said, you want turmoil? Look at their team. You want questions? Look at their team. Look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yes, they have Brady, but they have other questions that they have yet answered during the season. We have seen those answers. We just need to put it together, and I trust Mike McCarthy. in doing that. I had said 24-20. I'm leaning more 27-17 because an inspired defense will do that. When you put them out and say, oh, there is no way this guy's going to slice and dice. When you're going to do that, oh, the defense listens. And you said leaders. You have those vocal leaders, but you also have those other leaders that go up to them and say, hey, this is when you make the play. This is when you do that. Just like Peters did, just like Schultz did, just like Kurse has been doing. But also those other second-tier players that say, hey, keep your head up. Don't worry, we'll get it up here. And they keep their spirits up. And that's what I see. That's why I'm leaning more towards 27-17 now.
Keep in mind, Tom, the team you just bet $500 on needed to beat the Panthers 2 weeks ago just to win their division.
And just lost to Atlanta. It's
fine.
For what it's worth.
So I want to roll out the carpet because I've reached a status apparently that I didn't know that I've reached. But I have my own burner account. I have my own burner account. So
there
I can
it
say
is.
whatever the hell I want now on my burner account, which is great. So, professional burner account. How are you doing? And will the Cowboys help save Tom a little bit of happiness because he wants us to win apparently, and also a little bit of money this week because he also bet against us.
So can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
No, I can't hear you.
Why am I catching strays?
I'm just joking. Come on now.
I'm only joking. No, I was gonna say. So I actually have never learned how to bet. Just because I never wanted to do it. So I don't understand.
Version. If the Cowboys beat them by more than 3 points, he loses the bet. So if it's 20-17, the Cowboys win, he wins the bet.
Oh, he's got 3.5 though. Oh, he's got 3.5. He said.
No pushes.
Okay.
So
as long as if the Cowboys win by 4 or more,
boom,
he loses the bet.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's gonna be so if we win, which I think is more likely than not, it's gonna be like 2 or 3 scores. I think they respond. So yeah,
you're gonna be up 21-0. He's like shit. You're like fuck.
Headed to the border.
Yeah, no, they respond well. If we lose, if the eventuality happens, or not the eventuality, but if the world happens where they lose, then you go. But I think they'll respond well. Just all the talk that's been happening, they've been disrespecting Kellen, saying this offense is simple. They disrespected Dan Quinn. I'm sure he don't like Tom Brady anyway, for obvious reasons. So yeah, no, I think they get their revenge this time.
Yeah.
Now, Tom, is it too late to cancel your bet? Can you change the terms? It's not looking good for you. It's not looking good for you.
I ain't no front runner. I'm sticking to it. I will go through it.
Yeah, I mean, real quick, you said it's a parlay.
Yeah.
So I need to know the first front of your parlay real quick.
I took the Giants actually in an upset.
How many points you get in that?
Hold on.
You're gonna lose that anyways, but neither here nor there.
That's funny.
Here's what I want. Here's what I do want. I want you to win that parlay just so you can sit there and suffer on Monday night. I want the Cowboys to win, but not by more than 3. I want you to suffer on all sides, and I want Brett Maher to kick a field goal that just happens to make it 4 instead of 3, and you're going to sit there and suck it. That's fucking crazy to me.
I have a
problem. Or they take a touchdown to go up 4 late.
Fair enough. Oh yeah, because I already said Wednesday. I said the Cowboys will be down 19-17, and Dak drives a touchdown leading drive at the very tail end of the game, and they win 24-19. And now I didn't know this was his parlay bet beforehand. Oh, I absolutely are now campaigning for this, just so with 3 seconds left or so, and the touchdown pass happens, and we win, and you're gonna sit in your damn house and be like, "Fuck me."
And I'll come right on here and let y'all have at me.
Oh, no. You don't have to show up. We already know. We'll talk about it, but we want you to come back anyways.
You're gonna bet on the Giants. If you're gonna bet on the Giants, I wouldn't add them in a parlay. I think a better bet for the Giants would have been taking their Super Bowl odds because you could have bet like $25. They were plus $6,800. Plus not dollars. Plus $6,800. Like that's a crazy odds. So like you could have bet $20, not lost anything if they lost, and then if they win, hit
No.
Like
No. The bets reveal what they think. He really thinks Minnesota and the Cowboys are going to lose. It's okay. Let him be who he is. Oh, let him be great.
In a gambler's world, yes.
The only thing is, and I know this as a matter of fact, is that I'm not a fan of when everybody starts picking upsets. You want to know why? Because Vegas is going to call for their money. You know how many people are betting for the Bucks to win? You know how many people are betting for the Giants to win? That's why I was like, I like betting from time to time, but I was not betting on the Giants or the Cowboys games. But why? Because number one, I don't bet on the Cowboys winning. If I'm going to bet on the Cowboys winning or losing, I'm betting on them fucking winning. But
hey, real quick, he bet on the Giants winning and the Cowboys losing. He's a Cowboys fan. That's his parlay.
Look, listen, you spend your money how you want, but at the end of the day, my friend, listen, I'm going to tell you this. Knowing how trends are, I'm not a fan of going with happy upset picks because those backfire. I've seen it happen before. I'm just being real.
No,
Fair.
you're not wrong.
Fair.
You're not wrong.
They're just too happy of a pick to upset. That's all.
All right, let me answer this question. A scale of 1 to 10. Scale of 1 to 10 for y'all. I'm gonna start with I'm just gonna spin the block here. Scale of 1 to 10. How important is this? Because there's legacy talk, things happen, and as I always talk about, we get to the playoffs, it's a team game, whatever. Good quarterbacks get you to the playoffs, so on and so forth. On a scale of 1 to 10, in your opinion, for Dak's legacy, what does this mean, Professor O?
what does that mean in either direction, or what does it mean specifically?
What does it mean for Dak's legacy this game? Is there a legacy on the line here?
In 10 being high,
like it has 10 being it propels his legacy forward. In 1, okay, we're downtrodden some. 5 is a push. If you will.
I think this game, I think you could go 10 either way. I think if we win, it's a massive propulsion for his legacy.
Right.
And if we lose, I think it's the exact opposite. Like, I think this game will
but I mean, what is it? So you think it's a 10 for him, winner? Maybe I framed it wrong.
Yeah, I think it would be a 10 if we win, and it would be a 10 if we lost.
I'm saying legacy-wise, how important is this game for his legacy? Maybe I should say it that way.
Yeah, it's massively important because if we lose, you're going to hear the Cowboys were 12-5, can't get it done. He's 1-4 in the postseason. All that stuff's going to... He led the league in interceptions. All that stuff's going to come back and, it's going to be a huge storyline. Then there's the conversation of do they keep the head coach? And if not, does the new head coach want him? Like, this will be a huge loss for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, but Dak in particular and his legacy. Dak needs a win in the playoffs. I hope he will, and I think he will get a win. But I think it will impact his legacy more with the loss than it would with the win.
BLS, how big of a game is this for Dak, for his legacy?
I think it's really big for his reputation, but not as much for his legacy.
Okay.
And I say that because reputation is something more short term that can change, whereas legacy is like ultimately like what it'll say for his story as a whole. I think it'll play a role in his legacy either way for sure, but I don't see this like being the beginning of the end of his career. So that's why I don't think it would impact his legacy like in a grand way. I think if he loses, like ultimately, I think one day he's gonna get that playoff run, even if it's not this year. And I do think it'll be this year. So if he were to lose this year and get that playoff run later, I think it would just add to his legacy of being that, later round draft pick who ended up being a starting quarterback for America's team. And then, he developed and fought his way to the top. And, one day he got the playoff run. Cool. If he loses, then it would be his legacy that like, oh yeah, he got to this point and then plateaued. But I don't think we're late enough in his career for it to impact his legacy. But I like to be a reasonable person. There's a lot of unreasonable people out there, so I could be wrong.
10-4. Professor O's burner account. How big of a game is this for Dak legacy wise? Scale of 1 to 10.
0.
Oh, not even a 1, 0. Okay.
Yeah, no, 1 to 10. So 1 if it's basically like. So I agree with BLS despite her liking her. Like, I mean, Matthew Stafford was trash not trash, but he had a trash playoff record for a long time.
Right.
I'm thinking about this year with respect to trash. But
I mean, he led the league in interceptions last year and won the Super Bowl. Who cares? Whatever.
Exactly. Once you get that, that dub, your legacy, people focus on the wins. It's kind of like
Right.
NCAA basketball, where like a good win is better than like a bad loss when they're trying to see teams for the NCAA tournament. So I think for like in the short term, it won't be pretty or comfortable for him if he loses. But I think for his legacy, as long as he wins and before he retires, I think he'll be fine.
10-4. Space, what you think, man?
So on a scale of 1 to 10, like 10 being most impactful, 1 being least impactful.
Right, for his legacy, yeah.
So this game on its own, a 1. Now the reason why is because a legacy is you building up your resume, right? I feel the way I look at it is this game could build upon a legacy, right? Like, think about it this way. Last time the Cowboys won a road playoff game, 1993. So he would be the first quarterback to quarterback a team to that.
Yeah,
but
home San Francisco,
here's the
92.
thing. Right. If he goes, whether it be San Francisco or Philly, get 2 road playoff.
I want to go that far, though, Space.
But
I'm just talking about the Tampa game.
I understand what you're saying, but what I'm trying to get at is that this game, listen, the dude's going to play for 8 more seasons, and I think that it doesn't matter this year. It doesn't. I hate how we're having these, not saying like it's your fault, but like I'm hearing all this,
Right.
what is legacy? It's a dumb question because at the end of the day, the only way that a legacy is solidified is if you win a championship. That's the end of it. So if he wins this game, cool. If he loses this game, cool. Whatever. It doesn't matter. He has to win. If he goes further than that, cool. This is the start to build one. That's what I'm getting at.
Right. But here's the thing, though, and what we have to be honest about and what we do is, look, as much as we tune out national media, it still seeps into what we do, what we're talking about with the nation and what's happening. Things are going to change, in my opinion. I don't do that yet. Let me get to everybody else. Let me get to that. Let me spin the block. Lunatic, how much does this matter to you? For Dak's legacy moving forward, this game.
This game for old timers like myself, not very much. But in today's youth who have not experienced success with somebody wearing a star on their helmet, big time, because this generation is what have you done for me lately? If not, I will go and support a winner because we all want to be associated with winners.
10-4. Let me go to no, not $500 Tom. He bet against it. Spoonie, go right ahead, sir.
I give it a 10. The standards are always different between the Cowboys and everybody else. Jerry Jones and the front office have sold this team to be a great team every offseason, every time, and things of that nature. We are the front runners. We are the top conversation in every network. So because of reasons like that, if we lose this game, it's gonna be like a sinking ship with Dak. What's the next thing moving forward? Is he the quarterback? X, Y, and Z. Those are the things that is going to start up. And every time when you have those conversations, what happens? People follow through. People talk about it. You're going to get an abundance of people to agree with it, and that's what happens. But if you win this game, and let's just say Tom Brady retires and whatnot, they're gonna put it out there. Dak Prescott and Dallas Cowboys retired Tom Brady, X, Y, and Z, and just pimp it up. So that's why I give it a 10. It's pretty much, and it's like what Lunatic came out and said. This year's generation of fans is basically about what have you done for me lately. When you look at around the league, the Eagles won a championship a couple of years ago. You got Mahomes. He has
6 years ago. 6
years ago. You got Mahomes who has won. So every time we hear the conversation with Dak Prescott, where is he ranking the top as far as the other quarterback in the top 10? they're always gonna look at, well, you're the Dallas Cowboy. You wear the star on your helmet. You having all you have is one playoff victory, and that's what it is. And it's a continual thing. So the best thing to do for him is win. You win, it calms the conversation down.
I think this comment too, before Nick gives his answer, Bucks are not good. If they lose, it will not be because of Dak. His legacy is not affected. I think it's the complete opposite, because we all agree that the Bucks are not good and the Cowboys should win. And even though it probably won't be because of Dak if they don't win, it will impact his legacy, because they'll say you couldn't even beat the Bucks who are 8-9.
Exactly.
Like that's what the media will do, right or wrong, true or false. That's what they'll do. That will be the narrative in the media.
Yeah. $500 Tom. $500 make you holler. Tom, your answer now, sir.
I tend to go on the lower side, and one caveat I will say, I think it really depends on how Dak plays. If Dak goes out there and throws 500 yards and 5 touchdowns in the defense and they don't get the ball back and he has no turnovers, it's really hard. But if he goes out there and has a stinker, the range is just going to go. And do I think it's
saw that with Green Bay, though, right? Like, Dak played well in the playoffs against Green Bay, and everybody says he couldn't beat Rodgers. And
don't get it twisted. He beat that guy that got paid $250 million out there in Denver as well. But
right.
I tend to think it shouldn't affect his legacy. I just worry that the people that love to talk about his money, aka the Jones, are going to make it a point to bring it about his legacy. So I think the average and smart fan should look at it as a holistic view, as there's 11 people on offense, 11 people on defense. It's the ultimate team sport. I mean, to pin it all on one guy, it shouldn't affect his legacy.
Yeah, I mean, sounds good for a guy that bet against him, but I feel you. Yeah, I'm just going to cook you the entire time. I love you. I love you. I love you, but I'm going to cook you the entire time when you get those kind of answers, but you bet against them. I'm like, do you really believe it? But no, it's really funny, just because. And some of the things you said are absolutely correct, Tom. I think good to great quarterbacks get to the playoffs, and then teams and move forward. And I think it takes organizations to win Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. Those are just the facts. That's how I feel about it. I've been on record multiple times saying those kind of things. And that currently is 1-3 going into the playoffs. And look, if you really go dial up the Rams game, we didn't lose because of that. We couldn't stop Butterball CJ Anderson from running the ball for 250 yards and disappearing. But guess what? Nobody ever talks about that. It's, Dak's 1-3. But you go watch the game and really break out the game and go through those things. Mm-hmm. Well, we couldn't stop the run, right? Or, hell, Jeff Heath, salute to the goat, couldn't stop Jared Goff running on third down when the game was 30-22 on 3rd and 8 and just getting down before he got the first, right? Mm-hmm. But I get it. It comes with a check. This is one thing that I believe in life. I believe this forever in life. It comes with a check. When you get a check and you're getting paid and things are happening, if you're the highest paid guy, guess what? Doesn't matter what's going on around you. It's going to land at your feet. That's just what it is. And ultimately, and more so, Spoon, as we've talked about before, we know the star on the helmet, it is what it is, and things come with that. That even ramps up more, right? Not just because of the team that has fans, but those that hate and watch and keep pushing us into the realm of the highest, 4 out of 5 most viewed games this year, so on and so forth, yada, 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 all that. We've talked about a long time about Dak he's different from a leadership standpoint. And things he's went through, things he's done, and whatnot. I think the team owes him to be that, and I think the team has done better defensively. If we go through Romo's years or whatever and look at the defense and whatnot, forget Dan Quinn, just certain players that are in place, right? I think it matters. So, yeah, 8-9 team, it matters. It matters to the legacy. I don't know what they will do after this week, and we'll see how that lays out and what happens. But I think it matters. Absolutely think it matters. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It matters to. He's 1-3. They're going to do the whole diatribe. But here's the crazy thing about it. He wins this week, go to Philly or San Francisco, and they lose. Guess what? Next year we're going to hear, well, he's 2-4. He's not really that good. But it's crazy how much a single game can change everything. Because guess what? You don't win week 1. Whew, sweeping changes could happen. Head coach, whatever the case may be, so on and so forth. Like, those things matter, right? Especially with a Sean Payton out there and what's going on. But ultimately, Dak is who he is in this team and what's happening in the whole nine. You get it and you understand what you're coming with. Some people want to cheer for them and some people want to bet $500 against them and double down because they bet last year and won against them and the whole. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be petty. Oh Tom, I'm gonna be petty with that shit. I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna be super petty the entire time. Ultimately, in BLS, I saw your message. I got you coming up next. It's funny. It's just funny, of how things work and how they move around. And we hope for the best and whatever. Again, we want the smoke, whatever. But boy, you have to. Oh, came back with it. What you got? I know you get a drink. What you got? I know you got a pale ale, or where we at tonight?
I actually don't have any IPAs, so I just grabbed a Blue Moon because that's all I have.
Oh, okay, Blue Moon. Fair enough. But yeah, it matters for Dak just because of how this thing, the rotation works, and most importantly, I think it matters because it's a contract. And let me drop that before I get to BLS on this. I think it matters because of his contract, right? Because how the Cowboys slow played his contract, how things have happened, and was it Space you said earlier about they can talk about whatever. I think it was you. I don't know. If I'm wrong, it was somebody else. I don't know. But again, because they can keep Dak another year and kind of move on if they wanted to. And maybe this game pivots that forward. I don't know. But I think legacy and Cowboy lore-wise, man, it's a 10. And I don't think it's fair, but I think it's a 10 because you got Cowboys fans out here betting against them. Yeah, I mean, Space, I thought you had some.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to talk. No,
I'll pivot to BLS because BLS has a good. BLS has a good spot next if you want to go. No, BLS, go right ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'll go. No, I looked this up while you were talking, and I just thought it was interesting what Dak said because I think he would actually agree with you, Nix, based on this quote. I haven't watched the video, which I can't wait to watch it because like one of my favorite things is when Dak talks his shit, which he has done more this season. But I guess they asked him about Mike McCarthy possibly, being in the hot seat. And he said it's comical in a sense. Back-to-back 12-win seasons, and y'all tell me how long, and we're talking about a guy's job being in jeopardy. That just shows you when you play for this organization, what comes with it. And so he went on to say some more stuff after that. But, it sounds like he directly to the media was basically saying yeah, that shouldn't be the case. But because of the star, like you were saying, Nix, that it sounds like it is, unfortunately. So even though he doesn't agree with it and thinks it's comical in his words, it sounds like even he's acknowledging there's a lot of weight that comes with the performance and being part of this organization. So I thought that was interesting because I feel like last season he wouldn't have said that in those words.
Well, and here's the thing about it is because it's easy to replace a coach, not the players, but it ties to it differently, and those things matter. Which even on top of that is insane. Again, as we talked about, throughout, like the Cowboys went to back-to-back playoffs in over a decade, and they haven't won 12 games in so long, and this is the temperament of Cowboys Nation. Somehow, 9 years of what we saw with Jesse Garrett was kind of okay. 3 years of McCarthy, even with 5 games to the backup quarterback, nope, sorry, not good enough. Jesus
But
Christ.
even though it is harder to replace a player than a coach, it's like that conversation has been happening too. I've been seeing it all week. It started off with them just talking about McCarthy, but people have been talking about, should they replace Dak? Should they find another quarterback? So the conversation is happening. I think the thing that I find most interesting is that almost everybody who tries to make an argument for getting rid of Dak or trading him or replacing him or doing something with his contract, whatever, they all have to make stuff up to some degree. Like even Dan Orlovsky, when they asked him why he felt the way he felt about Dak, he started with the interceptions. Oh, it's so many interceptions. And then, of course, he got the pushback that all the interceptions weren't his fault. So then he evolved his stance to say, well, it's not just the interceptions. It's the number of times the ball has gone to the wrong place when it shouldn't have. And then he went into this whole breakdown of times when Dak got lucky. In other words, Dak picked a target, Dak threw the ball, the target caught the ball, the team got yards, and it sometimes got points. But Dan Orlovsky says, well, he should have never thrown that ball in the first place. So if you look at the number of times, he just should have never thrown the ball in the first place. Even the times when it hit the target, it's just way too often. And it's just like, okay, so first it was the interceptions, and now you're just looking at completed catches and being like, well, they shouldn't have happened anyway. It's just like, dude.
Hey, and the fun thing about that, not this year, the last 2 seasons, they do a next gen stat. They do a next gen stat of balls that should have been intercepted for all quarterbacks. Yeah. And Patrick Mahomes leads the league in the last 2 years. They just can't catch the ball. But what you don't hear from Dan O or these big letter networks, they never bring that shit up because it's about narratives of what we push. It is what it is.
And real quick, the big thing too with the whole contract talk, obviously, smart organizations would think if you're going to keep your guy, you want to start talking about extensions as soon as possible so you can avoid the market going up and up and up. However, we have seen from this organization, they love to twiddle their thumbs and be like, we could just do that later. My issue is we've got to remember he doesn't have a tag. You can't tag him again. You can't. In his contract, he cannot be tagged again. He can't. So it's either you want to resign him or you don't. And the problem is that, they got the draft. Also, we don't know when you're looking to take that shot. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of factors that go into that. So it's kind of like, yes, there's a lot riding on this game. I'm not going to lie and say like, yeah, every time there's a playoff game, yeah, because it's single elimination. We know what's going on, all this other stuff. But my main thing is that like, if we, and I'm just saying this to the crowd that wants to get rid of Dak Prescott or get rid of Mike McCarthy, right? I've seen so many conversations about, we need to go get this guy or that guy, or let's play Madden and let's plug in X, Y, and Z. It doesn't work like that, bruh. Listen, I'm not trying to sit here and say that because Dak makes a mistake, I'm not going to call him out on it. Yeah, he's made mistakes. Absolutely. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and listen to bullshit and be like, I think we can go get a rookie quarterback. Man, I don't want to hear that shit. That's bullshit. No. People don't understand there's more things that go into being a quarterback in this league, right? Leadership, intangibles. Like, here's a good example. Philadelphia. Difference between Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts? You see how that locker room responds to Jalen Hurts versus Carson Wentz? That goes a long way. You don't know what that next guy is going to look like. All I'm saying is, listen, if you don't want him here, that's your own prerogative. But at the end of the day, if you want to go through QB purgatory because you know how the Joneses are with quarterbacks, be my guest. Be my guest. I'm going to just sit here and just eat my popcorn and be like, this is fine as the whole room's on fire. But,
hey, Space Cowboy.
Yo, what's up?
Who was your first quarterback when you started watching? I'm just curious. Quincy Carter?
Probably Quincy. Right?
It was
Quincy, Vinny Testaverde, Drew Bledsoe. That's what I was.
You've already been in QB purgatory, my man. You've already been it.
That's what I'm like. I'm like, listen,
Drew Henson.
You do not want to go through that bullshit again. I'm telling you right the fuck now. No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, guys. We've been working for 2 hours, a little bit longer, but again, I got a heat check. We were rocking in the chat. We good? We want to move forward? We okay?
Got 18 minutes left for me. I'm
18.
Midnight
Right.
here. Easy.
Well, then I'll tell you what.
By the way,
we're
we're 2 hours and 8 minutes in. I haven't even talked about my Georgia Bulldogs winning
Yeah.
last Monday. Look, I'm spoiled this year. My team, Georgia Bulldogs, won by a miracle missed field goal right at midnight. My year started out great. And then last Monday, this previous Monday, put up 65 points against TCU. So I don't feel like I'm asking too much for the Cowboys to put up 30 this week. Just put up 30. That's not even half of what my other team.
You
can do that because if you put up 30, we're definitely winning this game. Because
I'm just saying the Bulldogs beat the Christianity out of TCU. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, dude, we knew that was coming anyway. Like, come on.
My God.
not like that.
No, I didn't. No. I didn't think it like that.
Thinking like
I thought they were going to win. I thought they were going to win. I agree with you, Space. I thought they would win. Not like that. And then there's like underlying reports of the NCAA sliding in at halftime, said, "Hey, y'all have won the game. Chill, whatever." And then Georgia's like, "Y'all, okay, yeah, we got you, fam." And then said, "No, never mind."
No, fuck
I'm
that.
like, "Yo, it was wild."
Did you guys hear Kirby Smart's pregame?
Yo.
Oh, he said aggression.
Mike,
What are you gonna do tonight?
Don't
Aggression.
Mike, don't say anything. Literally, just play that audio. Just play that audio.
Yeah,
and then
bro.
all you have to do at the end is say it's time to hunt.
Dude.
Just go take the field. It's done. I was hyped up watching it, just listening to him.
It was a crazy thing because we were sitting there. I was with people around. I mean, he says this, so there's people around there. They did the little pregame talk to the coaches, and they asked him. He was like, "Aggression," and I joked for my wrestling fans out there. The first time John Cena showed up in the WWE, it was with at the time top tier Kurt Angle, and he called somebody out of the back, and he showed up. And look, Cena was in some weird ass little full metal suit, full wrestling suit, whatever it was before everything else. He's like, "Why?" And Kurt Angle was like, "Why are you out here? What things you consider the ring? Blah blah blah." And right then and there. Seems like ruthless aggression, and Angle's swap team that went through. Yeah. He knows. And whatever Kirby was like, we hit the aggression before we got out there, and everyone's like, I was like, nah, that hit me different, dog. The way he said it, and everything else, I don't know. And then it snowballed super quick. So shout out to the Bulldogs, bag to bag.
The reason I bring that up, first off, I had to just bring Georgia into it. But Kirby, after the game, is talking about my team. People doubted us all year long. Nobody doubted you.
I mean, here's the thing.
What he said it was important, though, is he said, as long as entitlement doesn't creep in your locker room,
yes,
you can win a championship.
Yes,
there you go.
That is something that I think all Cowboys fans can relate to because we've heard it's the country club environment. We've heard Jalen Smith saying things like, well, if Jerry's not tripping, I'm not. We've heard that stuff in the past. We're not hearing that this year. We didn't hear it last year either, to be fair. So there is definitely a difference in culture. This team is different than what we had in the Garrett era. And I don't even blame Garrett for it. It just is what it is at that point. Right. But I wanted to bring that up because I thought it was a good tie-in because you just had a team win a championship with the coach preaching, right, I don't care about the legacy. I don't care about the past. And you had Mike McCarthy this week talk to his players saying, here's some cute baby photos of the 10 players that were old enough to watch us win the last time we won a road playoff game. That shit doesn't matter.
Right.
I think there's a lot of good parallels between the message that both coaches are saying. Now, will we score 65 points? I don't know. But I like the way that the coach is addressing this game.
Well, and to your point, because I agree with that. Because as things were talking and we were doing to go through the game, and I was like, it never matters about whether they were those guys or not. Do you believe it in the locker room? As long as the coaching staff can deliver that in the locker room, the culture, if you will, it matters. And the Cowboys culture, I think, is very different this year because if we go back to, if we dig back, Spoon, and we got past the Green Bay game and we heard all the chatter, we did the show and we had our conversations on the back channels. And they were like, they were mad, they were saying this, they were saying that. And we all were like, yeah, we've heard this before. We've heard this before. Okay, cool. Show us. Then they showed up and did it. And it kind of goes back to they haven't lost back-to-back games and whatever. So, definitely. If it does, as you said, or as Kirby, if you don't let it creep in, it matters. With that being said, because we're wrapping up here, Spoonie, it is Freestyle Friday. It is Monday Night Football. 12-5, 8-9 Tom, undefeated Tom Brady against the Cowboys, 7-0. Spoonie, for the 48 in here, for those on the panel, excluding the $500 Tom, he can kick rocks. Do you have a bag? Can I get you to come through with a sermon for the people?
You're muted, bro. Go ahead.
But you are muted.
There you go.
You know, it's been a long time since I felt this good about this Dallas Cowboys team going to the Super Bowl. It's been a long time. I'm going to start off by talking about some of these players. Michael Parsons. Some people feel that you should have been second team All-Pro. Dak Prescott, you are the 12th ranked quarterback going into the postseason, ranked by a certain a quarterback. And the ones who was behind you is pretty much Brock Purdy and I think Huntley from the Baltimore Ravens. Wow. Meanwhile, you have won a playoff game and others in front of you who have not. Zeke. They say you washed. They say next season, get rid of him. It's a waste of time. Dalton Schultz. They just say you're not worth $15 million. A lot of people say that. Okay. D. Lord.
Big.
They say you watch.
You know, I think
Davon Diggs.
with Acho, he
You
wants
never
to be a star.
made an
If he's not a
All-Pro.
star already. Like, from hello, I knew he wanted to be a star.
Yeah. Diggs, you didn't make the All-Pro team. It was disregard of the guys that you had to follow, the guys that you had to line up in front of you. We're talking about Chase. We're talking about Justin Jefferson. We're talking about Cooper Rush. You shut that down, but you're not good enough to make the All-Pro list. So what? Mike McCarthy, they're calling your head already after 2 seasons of 25 wins. Back-to-back playoff since 06, 07. Wow. See, the little things that we accomplish, this Cowboys team is not going to get respect for. You get 1,000 yards, you break a season record, you break a game record. You're not recognized. It's just not enough. Why? Because of that star. And Cowboys fans, Cowboy Nation, this ain't your fault. Players, it's not your fault. Ranked at a high standard, better than anybody else. So, in conclusion, winning stats is not enough. If you want that respect, you can't earn it. You got to take it. When you get to Tampa on Sunday,
Monday.
Cowboys, when you get to Monday
night.
Monday night.
Yeah.
You're going to have First Take there. You're going to have all the networks there. You're going to have DraftKings there. Everybody who bet against you there. You're going to have
Toxic Tom
who already giving out Tom Brady the award of, you're going to the next round. When you get to Tampa, you need to put a fucking hole in that boat. You got to sink that motherfucker. You can't let flowers hit. Sink it. You got to feel like Titanic Part 2, the sinking ship. You got to put Pampers on Tom Brady and understand I should have been left home. You got to say, hey, don't talk about Mike McCarthy. Talk about Todd Bowles and his 89 record. This is how serious this game is. winning is not enough. Killing them, bashing them, making the network say, how the fuck they score 40 points against Tom Brady? That's what you got to do. You got to set the tone. You got to put fear in that next opponent's eyes. That when they say, holy shit, did you see what the Dallas Cowboys did? We got them next. And best believe, I know we can't overlook the Bucks. That's the first game. But everybody knows what Spoon wants. I want some wings. And the type of wings that I want is in the NFC East. And we know who we're talking about.
Oh.
We know who we're talking about. That's another story. We have to get there.
Yeah.
You have to go to Tampa and beat their asses up. Not by 5, not by 3. You got to take it to the head.
Definitely more than 3.5 so I can lose $500.
For scoring that point. You got to make BJ Nix come on the show, on the space, and go, how the fuck? How about them Cowboys, motherfuckers? That's what you got to do. You got to make BLS come on the show and, hey, did y'all see this shit? Mm-hmm. You got to make space. Come out on this show and say, yeah, motherfucker. You got to, hey, Tom, I love you, Tom.
So like I lost $500.
You got to make Tom lose his money. We love him. You got to make him lose his money. That $500 got to be worth less than a damn food stamp. You got to make Professor O go to in his hometown in Atlanta, Georgia, and say, I am lucky to be a fan of the two best teams in the world, the Georgia Bulldogs and the Dallas Cowboys. You got to make the lunatic come out wherever he's at and curse any motherfucker out on this block that's against the Cowboys. Most of all, you got to make Spoon right here give me that much energy for my new sermon for a special team that I want to face so bad. And I'm talking about, if you're talking about rated R, I'm rated Spoon 3 times higher than rated R. The language will be raw than Eddie Murphy. I'm going to give it to the whole. And I'm telling you guys, tune in. Cowboys, take care of business this week. Put an end to all this shit. And Dak Prescott, understand this. You have faced adversity on the field and off the field. A tremendous human being. We appreciate you. But when you get this W and you see those networks right there come and sit with us, you tell them, no thanks. Howdy, the mascot's right over there. I'm getting with my team in the locker room, ready for the next game.
Say less, Spoon. Say less, because it is playoff time. And we want the smoke. Man, we want the smoke. It don't matter. Look, we're not betting $500 against our teams around these parts. We getting it in. We making things happen. And we're ready to rock. That's what it matters. Look, ultimately, with the Cowboys on deck, the content's coming at you heavy. We appreciate everybody in general. Make sure the sub, tell a friend to tell a friend. It's free $99 to tell them. Every Wednesday, every Friday. And then, of course, we have the midday shows on the back end with Cam, Mass, our guy CVJ, whatnot. The spaces, catch me, BLS, Spoonie, Ricardo, a.k.a. Space Cowboy. We be the Spaceland as well. That's our ass right there over that side, man. We have a good time on that front. Yeah, man. I'm telling you right now. Next time, this is what I say. The Cowboys are in the playoffs, and you want to bet against them. Just give me $200. I'll kick you in the nuts, and you'll save some money, bro. It's fine. It's fine. Or look, and I'll say, if we lose, you kick me in the nuts. Look, return favor there, Tom. Return favor there, Tom.
I not gonna duck it if it comes out in our favor. I'll be right here. Y'all can roast me all you want. That's fine.
No roast.
I am not gonna duck it.
ain't roasted, man. No roasted.
Here's the thing. Look, here's the thing. The Cowboys game won't matter. He bet on the damn Giants. Look, he bet on the Giants to win and the Cowboys to lose. That's really the conundrum we don't have time for to talk about. But neither here nor there. But if they happen to do it, I'm going to inbox you. We're going to have a lot of conversations, sir. I can't wait. Look, go ahead. Last word for you, and I'm going to pivot the block. Go ahead.
I picked them to lose in the gambler's world. That's all I'm
going to
say.
Meh.
Other than that, Mike McCarthy, if there's ever a game you need to take that pipsqueak Tyrone Biggums of an offensive coordinator and lock his ass in a closet, do it. Do it.
No, ma'am, Double I. I'm not letting that go. I ain't never heard no foolishness of 500 against the Cowboys in the playoffs. I ain't never heard it. I ain't letting it go. But we have an accord. The Lunatic. Last word before we get out of here. For you, sir.
Cowboys Nation. You worried about CB2? Don't worry. Look at their left tackle. Our pass rush will get there. You worry about the run game. Hell, if Jansen plays, worry about Micah rushing up the middle with Dan Quinn's special. You have Tom Brady's quick release. We got LVE and D Bland. They got the speed to get there and no yak to end it. 3rd and long. If we keep them in 3rd and long, when we keep them in 3rd and long, that's when you will start seeing the light and realize this team came to play.
Yeah.
And not only that, they came to shut people up. Spoonie, you said, tell people around the block, trust me, I've been doing it ever since Staubach and Dorsett.
Let's go.
Ever since Danny White. God damn did I curse when Herschel Walker got traded. And I will always tell them, go ahead, bet against my Cowboys because I will be that fan to remind you, you lost your money. And Dak is now saying, hey, Tom, good luck next year with the Raiders. Love ya.
Hey, let's go.
BJ Cowboys.
Put on BJ Cowboys. Let's go. BLS, last word for you.
I wish I had something as fiery to say as these last two guys. All I'm gonna say, me being a human and organizational development major, I feel like just the fan response this entire week has been super, super interesting. So I'll just say this. Like, it comes down to what you want to believe. There's no hardcore stat that's going to, prove that we can win it or lose it. So we've seen different versions of this team. We know who the Bucks are. So it's like, if you want to believe that no one, you're 100% justified in that. So I think that's what determines your fanhood right now is do you see the good in this team? Do you see how much they've developed since last season? And do you believe that that's enough to beat the Bucks? I think all the answers are yes. And if you do too, then you're a fan like me. And that's it.
10-4. Robert Roberts is definitely Rowdy over Jimmy. I think will agree with me there.
100%, yeah. It's Rowdy.
Yeah, Space.
Rowdy's the curse.
But I don't believe in any of that. I don't believe in that kind of karma. But
no,
if I had to pick one, Space, go right ahead, sir.
Ruthless.
Aggression. Let's go.
We got 4 rounds. You got to land the knockout punch in every single one of them. Yeah, take it one at a time. Listen, I hope Minnesota wins this week and we win so I can go to Philadelphia.
Bring it. I want to go to San Francisco afterwards.
Bring me to Philly. I live 15 minutes from the stadium. I know that this team is where it's at, and I get it that the fans are where they're at, but let me tell you something, man. Listen, no one's expecting shit from this Cowboys team, so you know what happens? What has happened this year every freaking time that the Cowboys have been doubted? They won, whether it be dominant fashion or they win a game where they've done something so right. I'm telling you, man, listen, I understand that we are very, very, very hurt from last season. The sun's going to come up tomorrow, win, lose, or draw. But you know what? At the end of the day, who the fuck can say that we made Tom Brady either retire or leave the NFC? We could be that team. And you know what? I'm not scared of no fucking boogeyman. I'm not. That's the type of shit that lost you stuff last season. We can't be nervous, man. We cannot be nervous. I'm telling you, man, they will show up and show out. I said it. Knicks, you know it. I said it before the Vikings game. Listen, the Cowboys will win this game. I said it after the Jacksonville game. They beat Philadelphia. I am telling you right now, this Cowboys team is going to win on Monday night. And if I'm wrong, fuck it. I'm wrong. I don't give a shit. I'm not betting anything on this goddamn game. But at the end of the day, listen, I've seen what this team has done, and I'm going to follow the trends. The trends tell me that the Cowboys will win this game, and they will.
10-4. Spoonie has already did his sermon. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, what you guys said is music to my ears because I'm looking at this team and I'm looking at the possibilities. I'm looking at what could be if we beat Tampa Bay, if we handle business and play to the caliber that the Cowboys are capable of doing. I'm not scared of Kirk Cousins. Not scared of Jalen Hurts. Not scared of Geno Smith. Not scared of Brock Purdy.
Yeah, that
Not scared of Daniel Jones. The class of quarterbacks in the NFC, I don't care what Dan Orlovsky said. And also, to be clear, Dan Orlovsky's a smart dude. He knows what he's doing. It's intentional. He knows what he's doing. He's doing this because it is amplified. If you say negative things, it's going to be echoed in the echo chamber. And it's just going to keep getting out there. And you're going to hear this over and over and over again because people know how ridiculous the comment is. He knows what he's doing. Dak Prescott will be, after this game, after we beat Tampa, will be the best quarterback in the NFC. Period. Heading of the NFC teams. He just will be. So I'm looking at this team and I'm like, Micah and Tank, I need you guys to have a game. I need you guys to make plays because if you guys are able to do that and Jonathan Hankins does what he did prior to his injury,
right,
and Quentin Bohanna did what he did earlier in the season, and LVE helps contribute to the linebacker core, and Bland or Diggs or somebody comes up with a timely interception.
Sidebar question for you. Game. Sidebar question for you. Can LVE make Clark be better, in your opinion, or no? I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And I think too, if you look at what LVE's done in terms of leadership in seeing the field this year, so LVE may not be the guy that we thought he was his rookie year,
right?
But he's been pretty damn good this year, and you see it pre-snap. His pre-snap recognition is still top notch. Post-snap, if you want to talk about athleticism, physicality, whatever you want, that's fine. But you see him sliding defensive tackles over. You see him adjusting the linebackers. You see him calling for the cornerbacks. Like he's the captain of the defense, whether he has a green dot or not. He sees the field well. And I think for a young guy like Damone Clark, who didn't have an offseason because he was recovering through a neck injury, and none of us thought he would even be playing this year, that leadership goes a long way for a guy like Damone Clark. So I definitely think LVE could help bring out the best of Damone Clark, and that's not necessarily a knock on Anthony Barr. It's just that LVE's been in the system. LVE's been in this clubhouse. Right. It's different hearing him say it. I mean, we heard LVE talk to Micah, and the comment was, you can't make every play. You can't abandon where you're supposed to be trying to be the hero every time. Hero ball doesn't work in the NFL. Flash plays don't win you games in the NFL. Playing sound, disciplined football wins you games in the NFL. Do your job. Let us do our job and trust us that we'll make the plays and we can go a long way. And he's right. So there's things the Cowboys can do to stifle this Bucs offense that's struggling. This same Bucs offense that lost 35-7 to a Brock Purdy-led 49ers offense. 35-7. The same Bucs offense in December that lost to the Cincinnati Bengals by 2 scores. This same Bucs offense that scored 20 or less points in 5 of their last 8 games. This defense has no excuse not to be able to shut down or significantly hamper the Bucs offense this week. I know cornerback 2 is going to be the conversation, rightfully so, but Xavier Rhodes, his first week of full practice and participation, is getting rave reviews. Maybe he helps. Nashawn Wright, when he had opportunities, we saw him quickly go through those growing pains and not make the same mistake repeatedly, which is growth and development. And that's what you're asking for from a young player. So there's things you can do. And the defense potentially this week, knowing that the Bucks get the ball out quickly, knowing that Tom Brady averages his time to throw is like 2.20 seconds. He's going to get the ball out quick. In week 1, he had 2.11 seconds. He's getting the ball out quicker than he's ever done in his career because of this pass rush. Their offensive line now is worse than it was week 1.
Thanks.
The running game now is worse than it was week 1 because week 1 was really the prime of the run game. So you're playing a team that went 8-9 for a reason. I know it's Tom Brady. I know he has the rings. I know he's the GOAT. I understand the legacy. But this version of Tom Brady and this version of the Tampa Bay Bucks is not what you played week 1, and it's not the team he played last year, and it's not the team he had when he was with the Patriots. So that stuff is irrelevant. And that's why the Cowboys need to look at this opportunity and say, let's go be great. We have the opportunity in front of us. There's no excuse to lose this game. I don't care that it's grass. I don't care that it's outdoors. I don't care that it's Monday night. I don't care about any of that stuff. You're playing a team that you are more talented than. You're playing a team that you're more healthy than. Go win this game. And if you do, we'll talk next week. We don't know what the matchup's going to be, but there's a lot of teams next week that I'm not that concerned with. But first, it starts with the first domino, right? Nothing happens if you don't knock the first domino down, and it's there in front of you, and there's no reason you should lose this game. So go be great, play cover 2, specifically press cover 2, because that's what Tom Brady's worst EPA was against this year. What that does with it, you're playing a team that can't run the ball. They're trying to get rhythm passes, get the ball out quick. They're throwing a lot of screens because that's the extension or what they do in reference that they can't run the ball. And if you're playing press cover 2, they can't throw screen passes because you have a defensive back right there jamming up that spot. And if you have 2 safeties deep, you don't have to worry about Tom Brady airing it out because he's thrown the ball a ton. He threw 700 pass attempts this year.
Yeah,
they will
800.
throw the ball on you. Yeah, it's one of those things. If you add that second safety back deep, I'm not as worried about Xavier Rhodes. I'm not as worried about Nashawn Wright at that point. It's just a matter of the pass rush getting home. And we have some guys, one of them maybe a first-team All-Pro for the second straight year, the first guy since LT to do that. So that's pretty impactful. So, Lion, get that feather in your cap. You already have the accolades. You're a 2-time All-Pro. Go sack Tom Brady. Get that forced fumble, force that interception, whatever it is. Be that player that we know you can be. And there's nothing that can stop the Cowboys this week. We'll worry about next week. Monday is all that matters right now.
Boy, Spoonie, I think that was the first ever O sermon.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it was the first ever O sermon we got.
Professor.
Man, Professor. That part. I mean, at the end of the day, always this time of the year, I'm always about, hey, enjoy the ride. We'll be critical no matter where this thing ends. Period. I don't care. We'll be critical. It's going to happen. The content's going to happen nationally, independently, whatever. But as a fan, you enjoy the ride. And it's not about being scared. Look, be clear. Me and Spoon won't be at this game. But last year, Spoon, we dropped our bread. We wanted the smoke, and we was in the building. And, we paid like $100 to go like 1 mile from the stadium to our hotel because we were just out and chunked the deuce. But we put our money where our mouth is what I'm saying. Not against the team, Tom, but for the team, if you will. Neither here nor there. And look, man, when I talk about the old school fans or the new school fans, and particularly with the new school, Spoon, y'all ain't seen back-to-back playoff years. Me and Spoon know about back-to-back playoffs. Me and Spoon do. We lived through that. These young cats, y'all don't know that. Man, this PTSD or whatever, man, it's the playoffs. You just don't know. Look, the Bengals have never won a Super Bowl. They made 2, right? They never won a road playoff game. Ever. In their entire history. Not 1, not 2, get my LeBron on, not 3. They won 3 road playoff games and went to the Super Bowl. Like, you get into the tournament and you don't know. So, no different than how I felt last year, what was going on there. I don't care about this year. Look, I'm here. I'm going to enjoy the moment. I'm going to enjoy the moment. Look, we'll be analytical. We'll talk about whatever. And we do those things. But right here, right now, man, we in the building. We're playing an 8-9 team. Oh, hold on, Spoon. Can I borrow a word from you real quick? Man, I don't give a fuck about Tom Brady. He's 45. I don't give a fuck. He's 40 fucking 5, and they're scoring 18.4 points per game. I'll go back to week 1 to right now. If the Cowboys allow them to score 19, you tell me right now the Bucs will score 19. I'm taking deck of this offense, and we're going to win. I don't care. I don't care. This shit is asinine to me. This team isn't good. They literally average. They are 32nd. There's only 32 teams in case y'all can't count. They are 32nd in the league, averaging 76 and some change rushing yards per game. And say, well, hey, look, they did this week 1 against us. Spoon, our run defense has actually gotten better. It's gotten better. It's where we're at. Hey, the penalties. BLS, we were in the space and everything else. Guess what? We're not really crazy over them. I think they have 99, we have 104. Somewhere around in there. So whatever that number is, whatever the case may be. Like I said, the same spectrum. I get it. They have great defensive tackles. Hey, somebody name their center. Name their cornerbacks and safeties. I'll wait. I know we have great wide receivers. But I'm buying T.Y. and Lamb, though, I'm buying T.Y. and Lamb, though. I'm buying if we actually use Paul in the right way, which I think they will. Like, I just don't care. Like, I'm not here for the fluff. I'm not here. Yeah, understand this. I see that. I'm going to use that from Spoonie. Understand this, man. This team is not as talented as last year's team. I think we've been through the diatribes all season and everything else happened. I don't care. This team is more talented than the team they're going to play on Monday night. Say less. Go do your thing and walk through the door. And that's where I'm at. And, I hope Tom loses $500. And I actually want him to be on the line Monday night. I hope his parlay hits during the weekend. And then Monday night, as the game's happening, he's going to sit there and be like, fuck, the Cowboys cost me $500, but somehow I'm so happy.
It's like they're up like 3 or 4 scores, like with 30 minutes to go.
Yeah. It's us just praying, just get close enough to cover. Just cover. And they're like, no, 500. Which Tom's got 500 in his back pocket. I already know. I know how Tom, but look, any guy that's had the beard all year and shaves to the cop stash, he's got money tucked in them damn cushions behind him. I already know how Tom rocks. I already know how Tom rocks.
For our guys' Tom's sake and our sake, I hope that we see another 65-7 game, because then it will be so much scoring. He'll be like, I don't even care about the bet at this point.
Yeah, make him feel better. Just, oh my God, we're doing this. It's fine. It's fine.
I want to give a quick shout out too. I don't know when his birthday is. I saw it in the chat earlier, but our guy Bruce, he's rocked with us all season long.
Oh man, shout out to Bruce!
I saw people say that Bruce's birthday, they were giving a happy early birthday. So I don't know if it's today or not, but happy birthday from all of us, Bruce.
Yeah. Definitely shout out to Bruce. And as Bruce said, parting shot at Tom's ticket. Absolutely. Brother, don't you ever show up here somebody you bet against the Cowboys. It's going to be all the smoke from me. I know I was a little extra. I know it was kind of... I love it. All the smoke for me forever and a day. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, follow me on Twitter, BLS, me, Spoonie, whatever, especially being there. Man, it is the definite time to really dive in. We're going to have a good time on the other side there and whatnot. And I do plan to run a pre-show space Monday as well. Pre-game, I should say, not pre-show, but pre-game. And stay tuned, man. Man, it's been a fun ride. We appreciate y'all rocking with us all year. And guess what? It's not over, because we got a whole nother week of content coming, because the Cowboys are beating the damn Bucs. It is what it is. 34 tomorrow for our guy Bruce. 34. Shout out to Bruce. That 34 in the building. Happy birthday, brother. And the Cowboys will deliver you a win, playoff-wise, Monday for your birthday. Y'all be safe. Be blessed. Hit the faces, hit the follows, the whole 9. And we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Go Cowboys.
Dominate, celebrate.
Oh, no. Hit that one more time. Hit that. Oh, the Spoonie, you ain't said that all. Because Mary did give us the let's get 6 and turns you up. You ain't said that at all. You what?
Dominate, celebrate.
And one more thing.
You found out the win. You dominate, wins. Ow! Hit it again. Hit it again. Never mind.